Welcome in. Good to see everybody already in the chat. Yeah, thanks for being here. Let me back up in the chat.
Keith was first. BDF is officially under 100 days out from his trip.
We're at double digits, Keith. Wow.
Yeah, very exciting. We're pumped up for Keith. Big birthday celebration. Doing it the right way.
Yeah, 93 days until his first Walt Disney World trip, 94 days until his 60th birthday. So we're looking forward to that, Keith, and I know we're going to have just a great time. By the way, I did guest on Keith's live stream, BDF, this past Sunday, and thank you for having me again, Keith. It's always fun, and so you can check that out on Keith's channel. And it was just a good talk. We talked a little bit about planning for his trip, and 93 days. You're whittling them down, Keith. You're getting single digits. It goes quickly. So we're excited for you.
And welcome in to Francisco. Great to see you too. Kevin Theme Park Adventure. Welcome in. I got Jillian. Jillian's in the chat. So this will probably cover this in Disney news. But a little plug for Jillian real quick. Cincy released the 50th anniversary castle, so the Walt Disney World celebrating their 50th anniversary, and so they are putting out a Cincy warmer that literally looks. I mean, we'll show a picture of it later. It looks like the 50th castle. So very exciting.
Very cool.
It's a great warmer. A little bit of the pricey side. Even for especially it's more expensive than Cinderella, and I thought the Cinderella carriage was pretty pricey.
Well, Disney has gone up on all their pricing, so I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised that this one.
Now I say that with the qualifier, the Disney stuff that Cincy puts out is pretty much always their highest quality and coolest designs.
That's true. It is very high quality. I mean, if you're interested in getting this one, Jillian's link is in the description of the video.
It's $25 to go ahead and sign up for the pre-order. It says they should release, I think, in October, I believe. October, November, I can't remember what the link says. We'll probably show it later. But
we will.
Anyway, the castle itself, the Cincy Warmer castle itself, is $100. So you'll be charged $25 now, and then the additional $75 later on. If you get the scent bar, it's another $25 on top of that. I think it comes up. Oh, you go ahead.
It is a little pricey. I went ahead and got it just because I think it's a great keepsake, and I know that's the things that I know are high quality and that I'm really going to enjoy for years and years and years to come. I thought it was a good investment, so I went ahead and got it. I bought the scent bar as well, and Jillian said they're still available, guys. So use her link if you're interested. We'll show that a little bit later on in the show, and get pre-ordered for that. They're still available, and I'm sure that Cincy is expecting kind of a rush on those. So maybe
as evidenced by the it seems like everything that is in high demand these days has a virtual queue.
Right.
And so you got dropped in the queue list and had to wait around noonish today to get in to do the pre-order. But now it's still up in there with no lines. So
check that out, guys. We'll show that to you a little bit later on, and check that out. Francisco just got back from Walt Disney World. We're excited for you. That's sure. It's great to be down there. This was your first time back, probably since the blip. So it's good that you were able to get back. And of course, Kevin Theme Park Adventures. Good to see everybody. Jillian, James Ryan, always a pleasure, sir. The incomparable James Ryan.
Tina DCS, Dean the Turkey Legster, Catherine Wilby, Amy AJC Magic TV, Monarch Moments.
Good to see you guys.
Monorail Molly, welcome in. Let's see here. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody.
Thanks so much for being here. I'll highlight, and you're right. But thanks so much. William always likes to write down, keep up with who's in stream, so we can recognize all of you.
Ed and Heather, welcome in.
Texas Takes, Ed and Heather. Good to see you. our Texas YouTuber buddies there. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. And Dean, that's fine. Dean is eating cookies. That's an excellent excuse for ghost watching, Dean. I'll just have to say. Catherine, welcome. Thanks so much.
And Nick, welcome in.
Monorail Molly.
You, Nick.
Thanks so much for being here. We have a special show tonight, guys.
We do, and he's in the chat as well.
Special guest tonight, and we're going to bring him on in just a second. Is he in the chat? Wonderful.
Yeah, he's in the chat. He's
in the
been
chat.
saying hi to
I'm
people.
so far behind in the chat. Oh my gosh, guys, so sorry. Here we go. Let me see if I can catch up in the chat. And we're going to get started. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Not just our very special guest, Jonathan Chung. And let's just go ahead and bring Jonathan in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Before we do This Day in Disney History. Jonathan Chung, everybody. Thanks so much for being here, Jonathan. It's great to see you.
Good.
Well,
yeah, thanks for coming. We're very excited to have you join us tonight. On screen. I mean, you're usually with us in the chat, so it's awesome to have you on screen.
Yeah, Jonathan is one of our great ghost host moderators, so it's just an honor to have you here, Jonathan, and we're glad you can make it tonight.
No, great. Glad to be here.
We're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna get to know you a little bit, and then we're gonna talk about. I want to hear all about Bob Gurr, wonderful, amazing Disney animator Bob Gurr, who celebrated his 90th birthday recently, and you were one of the lucky people who got to attend that birthday party. And Jonathan, we talked about this at the time. I actually tried to get tickets for that. I was going to fly out there.
I was more luckier than you realize, because there's not a whole lot of advertisement about this event. I heard about this event because I was scrolling Instagram, and actually I believe Instagram, I was looking at one of your posts for whatever reason. And when I was doing that, they have advertisements in between, and my advertisements are geared to things in Ontario or in Canada, more so than like things in America like you guys get. Mm-hmm. And the ads I usually ignore, because it's like things for like, here's a bank ad, here's I think like a credit card or something, right? I don't usually pay attention to it. It's not geared to me. Most ads like on YouTube are starting to get geared towards doing it knows your algorithm. Instagram didn't. And yet I saw an ad for a Bob Gurr interview event, and I'm just like, that's got to be a fake ad, because like we don't get it in Canada. Turns out we do. He's been up to the exact same place that I went to. He's been up only once before that, a year or two before. I didn't realize that. And when I looked at the ad, if it was realized that there's no way to get a ticket because it's only a week and a half out.
Welcome in.
Right? So the fact that I'm seeing an ad a week and a half out from when it's supposed to happen was like, no, it's not going to, or 2 weeks, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah. So I made a joke to my sister, because I knew that it was a fake ad or something. I just said to my sister, because my birthday is in October, and it was around coming up, I said, hey, you want to buy me something for my birthday? I'm like, here, buy me a ticket to this. Not that you're going to get it anyways. She kept asking what I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted, right? I didn't know anything from her.
Oh, gosh.
She was at work. I thought she was off work, but she was at work at the time. She texted me like 10 minutes later and goes, which tickets did you want? I'm like, wait, what?
And Jonathan, you didn't tell me about this.
So she said, I'm going to buy you tickets. So he goes, there's an add-on for an extra $50 to go see Bob Gur in the meet and greet room or something. I'm like, I'll pay extra for that and pay you back for that if you're just going to buy me a ticket. And
every day, all day, and twice on Sunday.
She said, no, I can buy you. She said, no, I can buy you that extra ticket with the regular ticket, and I just won't go. I said, no, but I know you're not a Disney person, but I want someone to go, because what you're going to hear is not just Disney. You're going to hear a man's life work that's going to be inspiring. You watch historical, the History Channel on TV and stuff, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's like, you go with me, and I'll just pay you back for the other bit, right? Because I'd happily pay for the whole ticket in the first place, but I didn't expect I was going to get one. So here's just...
Hey, Dave. Welcome in.
So after she said, yeah, sure, that's fine. After she bought it, half a week later, when she's telling me I have the email, I have this, I said, oh, so what do I owe you for the other bit of ticket? It goes, well, no, the ticket came as one whole thing. I didn't understand. So she read it wrong, or she told me wrong. It wasn't that you pay $50 for an add-on for a ticket. I had the very last VIP seating ticket in the house.
Wow.
But the seats it's not a big set of seats. I didn't give you a picture for that. There's only like 5 dining tables back. It's inside a hangar. And up by,
wow.
Where MMR is in Hamilton. It's only it's a far end of a hangar inside, and so it's only 5 dining tables back, but it's like maybe like 20 across. So the VIP seats are just the ones in the front, and I was on the far end, but it was still in view at the stage. If you see the picture that I sent you guys, it's like that's where I was sitting, right? So it's not bad, but I didn't know that till she sent me more information, and she goes, no, there's a meet and greet involved, right? And then I read the fine print rules. The fine print rules said, you want to have merch signed or anything, you can. If you buy any of Bob Gurr's merch, it's free to have signed. It costs extra to have your own merch signed. Mm-hmm. But the merch I thought that he would be giving out was stuff related to his 90th birthday.
Right.
He said it wasn't. It was only for people who backed the Kickstarter project to have it recorded.
Okay.
I didn't know until I got there. And then when I got there, and the merch he was selling for everybody else was just the standard posters that we can get online with his autograph on it of each of the original rides.
Right.
So I bought them anyways because it's cheaper than shipping. But when I bought them, I said, oh, I couldn't get one of everything because it's quite a bit expensive. But I said, I'll take these 5 or 6, whatever I got. And I said, what is that? That's like 200 Canadian? He goes, no, we only take American. So that cost me even more. And I couldn't say no. But my sister said, oh, we'll deal with this later. I'll use my credit card because I didn't bring a credit card with me, right? So she did that, and then she told me later, the cost transition wasn't bad because my credit card had a discount that day on changing over to the U.S.
Ah.
So I got completely lucky with it. And
that is fantastic.
Half the
That's
merch
awesome.
that was supposed to be sold there didn't show up to after the event a week later on their website, saying anybody who, you didn't have to go to the event, but anybody who wants it can buy it and then drive up north of Ontario to where we have it because it finally came in. So there was a whole issue to why it didn't come in, and the whole issue is that we almost didn't have an event with Bob Gurr. So his flight got delayed. There was a whole bunch of issues. And then when he got there was a flood in the inside the hangar, the current hangar that it's being filmed in. And there was like inside the hangar, which is a giant open place full of planes in there. There's like a little second floor and a little building kind of inside where they do for tourists to come in and do like flight simulator stuff. That was flooding. So when we walked in, I didn't know at the time when we walked into Bob Gur explained it during his meeting. There were a bunch of fans, like industrial fans on the ground. My sister goes, there must have been flooding. I go, no, they're probably moving it because I don't see a flood. It goes, but they're fans here. I go, yeah, those are industrial fans. Those are commercialized ones, not your local fans. Something happened or they're getting ready to do something else. And then Bob Gur explained a pipe burst and there was a leak and we almost canceled it 2 hours before and said, no, we're going through with this.
Yeah.
So the others are going through with it. So the whole point of him being there, how he became to be there in Toronto, or I should say Hamilton, was because the people who run it, Designing Magic, had asked him to come up the first time, and they had a relationship with him. So on the website, all the merch that I thought we'd be getting, which we didn't get, for the people who backed the video to be recorded and saved, they got like all sorts of merch up to the point where if we had the highest inside the inside, what do you call it? Inside all the different levels of what you can help put money towards.
Yeah.
They said, I thought we'd be able to film because I thought I was going to film. I told everybody on Instagram and everybody in our community, I said, I'll try and film stuff and post it for you guys, right? They're like, Cargo couldn't go, and she lives in Ontario. I said, I'll film some, right? And then they said, no, you're not allowed filming here. They told us, please don't film, but they weren't being like strict about it. They just said, just before I started, the last second, just please don't film. It's very casual, right? But that's because they thought they were going to film through, because the Kickstarter was to raise $4,000 to have a film crew there for prosperity of it. Yeah. In 2 weeks, it got raised $9,000.
Wow.
So I went through the history of it. It was just like done. Because the high level of the Kickstarter backing was when you, I think it was like $800 or something, it gave you a 20-minute phone call with Bob Gurr. So obviously Bob Gurr was in on it, right? It was like all this special
wow.
Bob Gurr, like,
that's cool.
Like, I wouldn't afford that, but like there's a billion people who would jump on that in 10 seconds. Just done,
no
right?
doubt.
Oh yeah,
that's why.
definitely.
And even after reading that, a week after I got my ticket, it was like I'm even more luckier that there was actually one VIP team left that allowed me to go and have a picture with him. Even though it turns out it was very dialed down because we didn't get a lot of merch. Everybody else had access to the same merch. There was food in that room, but it just take your picture. You can use your phone to take one. They take one for you, but they don't actually print out a picture for you. It just we send it online with everybody else, so you can see everybody else and you pick yours out. So it's kind of like I was disappointed in that.
Yeah.
But the good news is that you got to say something to him for like 20, 30 seconds. Some people were talking for a minute or two. They allowed that because the camera people they had hired are very nice about it. They weren't pushy. It's just like 2 weeks before this event happened, Bob Gurr was down in Florida, and Corey Meets World did a stream of his charity thing where you can go watch him speak with everybody else. Everybody in the front row was all press or someone they had paid to say, put makeup on, whatever, you're going to sit in the front for the camera when we do this event, right? I expect that to happen. So the fact that our VIP seating was actually the front row legitimately, and it wasn't like Disney putting on something going, here, we have our guys in the front row, you guys are coming back. That was impressive. And so when I got to meet him, the people taking the photo just responded and looked at you while you were chatting with him. If the moment was right, they would try to take candid pictures of you talking to Bob Gurr, even though I thought they did one to me, but it didn't show up apparently. But they were doing it to people when they were chatting with him and shaking hands with him and stuff like that. So I got a minute or two to talk to him and just say, you know, like, because I work in theater.
Hey. Hey, Frankie, welcome.
I should say, at least I did. Because of the pandemic, theater isn't open. So it's kind of like I'm not, and it turned out I've become a moderator for like, almost 30 channels. So it's kind of like, it's changed. I also have a backup job, not yet, but like a friend of mine who runs the anime store that I've been helping for 20 years at convention. He wanted to hire me, but there's a follow-up between him and his partner. So he's starting his own store, and then a year when it splits in half, and he already wants to hire me. So I'm just like, I don't have to like search for work entirely right now. I'm kind of like in between.
Right.
So I'm just taking work in my theater, but it's only like odds and ends right now, right? So it's a bit of a mix of where I'm at, but because of that, I work in theater, and you've known this because you've I've talked to you about this before, that I've gone and even for a couple of days worked in the prop shop that had like the Lion King musical. We renovate the props there. The official Aladdin one that travels around the world, we do the props too. I shouldn't say we, because I've never done it. It's that place that does it, but I've done other things for them in the past. And I got to work there for a couple of days. The friends of mine are there. So I have my theater background. I went to college for theater, and I wouldn't have gotten into it if it wasn't for probably something like Bob Gurr, because like my earliest memory of a ride would be on Horizon, riding it, and he helped build some of the stuff in it. Not all of it, with a lot of the people involved. But because of stuff like that, I didn't, like, for the longest time, I've gone to theater shows with my parents, but I wasn't like, into theater, and then I started getting into building props, and then that's my field in it. So I got into, like, because of that, I like building props. It's not like I build, like, costume props in general and stuff like that. I've always, like, in our school, I built, like, when we had a project to do, it said, what would you like to build? Just tell us what you want to build and tell us why it applies to learning new techniques. I built a giant aquarium that was, like, 8 foot long. And it wasn't supposed to be an aquarium. It was just for, like, a waterfall feature, say on a show or in a theme park or something like that. I did something like that, and that was just because, like, all my years of, like, being in Disney prior and stuff like that, seeing more live props than digital stuff that we have today in our rides, I'm always like, that's me, right? That's guys.
Yeah, there it is.
So when I saw Bob Gurr, I got to talk to him and just say, I'd like to thank you, personally.
Yeah, hold that up again, Jonathan.
Gone to theater.
Jonathan, hold that up again, your VIP pass. I've got you. Yeah, look at that, guys. Oh.
Yeah, I said I would have gone to theater if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
And some other factors involved, but I went into it, and the way, it's not just I wouldn't have gone to theater, the way I do things in theater and what I did in my prop class and the way I've taken things into account, is like, I don't just want to build a prop that goes on stage, disappears into the garbage when we're done. I like to build things that are usable, like, if you're going to do a chair, let's make it useful so that we can use it again, or things that, like, just like Bob Gurr designs a lot of things in the park, but he designs things that are useful, that sit there for years and constantly be used, not just for look, right?
So go ahead and bring up the camera again there, William, if you can. Well, can you, Jonathan, can you give us a little bit of background on Bob Gurr? Garrett has asked for some background. Bob Gurr, obviously, I mean, he's a Disney legend. He's a
Imagineer. The slideshow as you're talking about it, Jonathan. I'm not going to
criticize the background of Bob Gurr, but I will try. Because there's a whole bunch of like books out there on Bob Gurr, right? We'll get to that in a minute. So there's a whole bunch of books on Bob Gurr and stuff. So the background is he designed the original rides and stuff. So what he talked about in his interview wasn't like an interview for people who are new to Bob Gurr.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like an introductory thing like you'd see on TV or something like that. It was more like, let's just get into it. Because all the people who are sitting there were all just fans of Bob Gurr. That's my seat, by the way. You can go back to that picture.
Oh, there we go.
Slideshow. That's how close I was sitting to him. I'm at the table with like 10 other people.
That's incredible.
That's
amazing. And then when I sat down at the table, people were just like, oh, you must be the guy with the last seat. Because everybody knew there was one ticket left that no one got.
Right.
So my sister had to sit in the back in the regular seating. The cost is a big difference, but other than Bob Gurr's photo I took with him, I'd say to everybody, just pay the seat in the back, because you're only sitting 4 rows back. Because it's just like, it's a different type of event, with just like dining table seating.
Right.
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 So
hey, welcome in.
I guess, but I did, because the picture showed dining.
Welcome in, Jeff.
And so we did stuff like that. So that's my seat, and that's just Bob Gurr on stage when we went through and wished him a happy birthday and stuff. We got to sing happy birthday to him. But anyways, when I got the photo done with him, I shook hands with him and said, thank you for inspiring me to be who I am today, and shaping who I am. And there were some young people who are into theater who were like, oh, I follow you, and they're much younger than me. So I'm like 41, right? There were people half my age there who said, I'm in theater school right now, and they're doing stuff like that. And he goes, and he hears it all the time. So I'm like, you hear this all the time, so I know I'm just another number in the book, but it makes me gratified that I can have to say thank you to you, because none of my lifetime would I thought that I'd ever be able to do that. When I said 2 weeks ago, I was watching my friend screen you at Disney World, which was Corey's Meet World. I said, wouldn't it be cool to meet him? Well, that's just like his last event. Turns out this event is his last event. And I only knew like 2 days later.
Yeah.
I came up going, would you like to see it?
Wow.
Yeah, this was his last public appearance, and I tried, Jonathan. It's funny because I think we may have been online at the same time because I tried to snag that last VIP ticket.
I told everybody on Instagram, I told the people local first because they have a better chance. I didn't know how they were servicing tickets, so I told I told Mike MMR, who's another mod in another chat. I told Cargo, right? And
right.
Said, I'll look into it, but Cargo said she couldn't go or something, right? I said they're just regular seats left. But it took about a week before the rest of it disappeared, right?
Right.
I was surprised because it was only 2 weeks away from his event. But there's no advertising for it in general, right? I think they might put it on Disney Plus at some point. I do not know about that.
Mm-hmm. I hope they do, Jonathan.
And Designing Magic has some of the junior innovators involved in them, which has to do with the cast members at Disney World. So I don't know how involved it is, but it wasn't run by Disney themselves. Because otherwise, everything wouldn't be like that. There's no way it would be the way I got it.
Right.
So up to about a day before the event, they released a picture on their website or on Instagram or something and said, by the way, go check out Bob Gurr's story on Disney Plus. So for them to actually allow to put that up there, maybe because it was Bob Gurr possibly, but I assume they got the rights from Disney or Disney said go ahead and do it. So they must have a deal with Disney that we want your footage.
Right.
Spent $4,000 worth of camera equipment from rental people down here.
Right.
Wow. And if it ever comes out, I don't get to see it because I didn't back the event. The event was already pre-backed by the time I got to it anyways. But if you backed it, you got to either see a video of it or you got a copy of it on a DVD or something.
Right.
So if I ever get to see it, that'd be great because the camera's going behind me like 100 times. Because I was dressed in like a semi-suit or whatever, right? You know?
Right.
So the camera, and I'm in front row, so the camera passed by, I kept panning back and forth in the crowd, right?
Right.
And jokes and stuff, right? So it's just like, it's kind of like, oh, please one day show that on Disney Plus?
Yeah. That would be crazy, Jonathan. That would be. Now, tell us a little bit about the slideshow, William. If you want to start.
So what you're looking at there, you go back to the red one.
So this is the first one, and this is of course the first picture.
That's one of two photos that I got from the website that was taken of me at the event. That's when I said hi to him. I gave my little speech. You know, I wasn't nervous. Like, what do you say to him, right? I wasn't.
Now, Amy of AJC Magic TV, I just wanted to say, is also in the chat.
Up in front of me in this tiny room where there's food on one side, and people are just lining up to to have signed or whatever. And it's just like, as they were doing it, it was just like, oh, okay. I see you only get like 3 minutes with him, so that's when my brain process is, what am I going to say to him? So I just say, hi, nice to meet you, and then be like, I can't do the long story with him, right? Or I thought we'd all be in a room, according to the website, that meet and greet, that we all meet ahead of time before the event started, which we did, and everybody has food, drinks, just say hi to each other, and he just maybe talks and walks and mingles around you. It wasn't like that. It was a bit more formal in terms of just line up, say your 3 words, and then next, right? So that was a bit of downside for me, but you know, at least the VIP on here is like
that is so cool, yeah.
All right, from Designing Magic.
Yeah.
So that's a cool feature of it. We did get, in terms of like that Bob Gur 90s merch, there wasn't any of that around, but they handed out at halftime. They handed out, I call it halftime. They handed out cupcakes to us. Everybody got 1 cupcake. I ended up with 2.
So this is a cupcake box that William is.
Yeah, the cupcake box and that picture you see has a sticker holding the box together. That sticker is the sticker they're handing out for the backers.
Right.
It's the 90th Bob Gur sticker. I saved it. I don't know if you can see it. It's
right
there.
Cool.
Right. I have 2 of them. So what I did is I saved it because I was like, you're never gonna get this again. There was a pin that came out just like that. So the 2 that I got, they're supposed to be based off 4 rides. I got the Autotopia one, which you can see in the far corner with the Autotopia sign, which is edible, and the Dole Whip one. So it doesn't taste like Dole Whip, but it has like, it was just decorated with an umbrella, and it had a real pineapple because it was made from some local company here that just like catered them, right? So it's kind of, I won't say cheesy catering because at least it puts thought into it. They go, can you design a cake design on this ride? There's one for People Mover, and there was one for, I forget the other ride.
Oh, Frankie, you have the pen. That's really cool. Now, Jonathan, is any of this merch still available? I did not look on his website, guys.
So I don't have the website out by hand, but the website at one point, again, after the event ended, said if you didn't get the merch, because the merch came late. It came on the day of when they were about to cancel the show because of the flooding. Because the merch itself, I have it here. It's basically the posters. They didn't close them. They didn't roll them up, whatever. They sent them to Canada. They came as a full-size poster in stacks, right? So they had to ship it by, they said FedEx shipped it or something like that, and it got delayed, and they were worried it wasn't going to come, so it just arrived last minute. And that was only half the merch. And I think that was all it was. They didn't mention to a week later ago, we've now announced we made just sell the other half, and you like it. It's the same price, no tax, $40 Canadian per poster or whatever. And then there was a metal sign that was something else. The metal sign that was about this size, but it was a replica of the original Disneyland book that you get with the ABCD on it. But it doesn't flip open or doesn't do anything. It's just an embossed metal, kind of like what we call it, like a license plate sign.
Yeah.
And it'll all be signed by him, apparently. It was pre-signed by him. So when I got my merch that's signed, he didn't sit there and sign it. It was all pre-signed, which is kind of like, I was hoping he'd sign it on the spot, right? And get to say hi to him. But it's all pre-signed, and it was all done in another room, right? Another spot where they were selling the merch.
Yeah.
The only thing that gets signed is you brought your own merch, and I didn't bring it. I was going to actually buy a book from my friend's anime store, one of those like really thick, almost like $100 books that's in the history of Disney or something. Haven't signed it. Actually, that was one option. I said to him, if it's eligible, I can have it signed, put it back in your store, and you can sell it. Not that I want you to make money off of it, but just saying, if you want to do that, I'm going to this event. Because that weekend, I was actually helping him open a convention, a booth at a convention. I said I can't stay and work at the convention because I have to go to Bob Gurr's event the same night, right? So but we ended up not doing that. I have a book. I should have brought it out. I can get it later. I have a book around the corner that's actually it's an architectural book that teaches you how to draw. Fast visual drawing. It's from the 70s. My dad gave me both of them. Both books have copies of original drawings of Disneyland because it's a book about drawing kind of really fast.
Oh, I love stuff like that.
The pictures that are in there, and I showed this to Josh of Resort TV 1 because he's a fan of Horizon. The pictures in there are of drawings of the RCA, when RCA was part of Disney World for a bit. There are drawings of Horizon 1 chair that you sit in with the monitor above your head and stuff like that. And there were just a few drawings. I was going to get him to sign that originally. But there's a fee. You have to pay like $10 for them to look at your merch to see if they allow you to have it signed. So,
right.
Right? And then you have it signed. And I was going to do it at first. I said, no, let's not, because we're going to get all this merch based on this stuff. And and it didn't show any of it, but I found out where it was, because on the back Kickstarter, there was some, like, even though it wasn't black and white, there were pictures in the background behind the listing of backing options of just samples of merch. And it was like a giant poster that says 90th Bob Gurr. It was like a t-shirt that said 90th Bob Gurr, all this stuff, right? I'm like,
so they're still
here.
So you think yeah, they do, Joe. Do you think that are they still selling some of this, Jonathan? I guess I need to take a look.
So I can check later on for you.
I'll go look. I'll check, but
I don't know. So the stuff that says 90th anniversary was not for sale. It was for the backers. What was being sold would be.
Gotcha.
You want to put me on the full camera for a second?
Yeah.
What was being sold was.
Yeah.
So they're just regular size posters. You can buy them at Disney store, Disney online.
Mm-hmm.
They're like original rides, but these ones are all autographed, right? So
right.
There are 3 autographed, right?
Yeah.
So I bought. There are 48, so I spent quite a bit of money. I bought like 6 of them. I'll pull them out. But so there was the. Also, I don't know if the camera will show, but the material of the paper, it's almost like a plastic card kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Okay, it's like cardstock.
Nice.
It's not something you would want rolled up. So when it all shipped this way. They were all in stacks this way, and they go, "What did you want?" Right? Right.
Very nice.
I know one thing I said to Steve's World, I said, "I have 6 of them, but I want to give one to your annual auction."
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
But I have to talk to him because last year I think Corey did that with him, and he had one of these posters, something similar, and he goes, "I have no clue how to ship it because it's hard to roll up. If you roll it, it feels like it's going to bend the paper more so." So I had to figure that out. But I said, I will pick one out for the auction, one that I don't want to keep per se as much, and then I'll also hand one of these with it so you know it came from there.
Right.
Right?
Well, that's very generous of you, Jonathan.
Yeah. His website or whatever, which you can't anymore now. I don't know if you can, but it's like it came from his 90th birthday event. These were like done. So there's this one. This is the Matterhorn.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Tomorrowland.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
The monorail, which is a fan favorite. He designed that.
Oh, yeah.
He designed.
Yep.
Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know
my goodness.
One I wanted was the People Mover, even though my People Mover is the one in Walt Disney World. It's mine.
Mm-hmm.
And the additional poster for it, if you guys know the poster, is the one with the canopy.
Oh, hey. Welcome in. LSU Mom.
I have here. I thought you didn't buy one. So, because they had more of these posters and the merch that came after the week of the event that I didn't get to. And I was going to buy some. I never got around to it, but this is it. Actually, I do have it. So I wish it would be the WCW version. Because that's mine, but this is still like, he autographs all of these, right? Well, this one, you're going to get jealous of this one.
I saw it.
Oh, my goodness.
But you can buy this. I think some places and some Disney appreciated places still sell stuff like this. But if you buy it and then you say, okay, I want his autographed one, I think he's charging like $60, whatever it is. By the time they ship it, it's all rolled up. I think this type of paper gets ruined that way. It's not kept the same way.
Yeah.
So for his auction, Steve's auction, when I picked one to be put in it, I already promised him that like at Christmas time, I'm gonna probably ship it flat this way.
Look at that.
Very sad.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
I thought about, like, I think sending autographs will work better for the auction because people will respond better and
yes,
money on it. For the thing. So
I need to. I know that he has some merch that you can get in different places. I really need to go on a serious look. Yeah, I need to go on a serious look and see if I can find that Haunted Mansion one. I really do.
If you do, you should look up sooner than later because not only is he retired, he's still giving pointers at the park to when they change out rides and go, we want your opinion. But he's no longer doing any public speaking. I was supposed to be the last one, according to what the website said. But I don't know if I trust the website entirely. And just try to it's kind of but it was his birthday because his birthday was 2 days after the event. And we're saying happy birthday to him. I did send you the video, but you don't want to show it. You don't have to. It's us saying happy birthday to him in it. And it shows what the guy from Designing Magic, who was his friend, we gave him a gift, or I should say they gave him a gift. And it was a Golden Track magazine that he designed. Golden Track always has a photo
hey, Baker. Welcome in, Chris.
Golden Track always has a photo of a car, and it's a magazine about cars. My stepdad is a car fan. He's collecting them for a while back in the day. There was 2 covers that are just paintings, printing of the painting, the original painting, and both of them belong to Bob Gurr. So Bob Gurr always had one of those magazines, but it's an old magazine he had from a kid or when he first made that magazine. So they went and got him a brand new mint version of that magazine, and goes, this is for your birthday, so you have one in your collection that's mint now. So that's what they gave him. We wished him happy birthday. And I didn't realize to actually, a few days ago when I was just browsing that website to give you the photos, that they'd also said, oh, by the way, in fine print art, you can bring in a birthday card to give to him at the event, and people were doing that. But they also said, if you all bring in video of you singing happy birthday or giving him well wishes, we might put that on the screen or compile it together for him. But no one did that though. There were cards given, but the person who gave the cards when we were all getting up and leaving was do you mind if I give him this? So I don't think I don't want to give any bad name to Designing Magic because they do good stuff. I've seen some of their stuff and what they do. But just how they advertise all of this was we didn't get a lot of information as to what we can and cannot do and all that to the last second. So people, you said it too. Can you take footage? And I'm I will. I had a camera ready to go. And he just before, as he popped on stage, he goes, by the way, please don't take footage. No policing. It's just they're kind about it, and they just said it so fast that if you didn't hear it, you would have missed it. So the last second, I recorded his birthday thing because everybody was doing it, no one's gonna care. But we just couldn't record long periods of it.
Yes. Nice the whole thing. Yeah.
So I do hope that Disney Plus gets a hold of it, or it goes to his museum where someone gets it.
Oh yeah.
Because there was the stuff he talks about isn't just I wanted to talk about more about him working in the automotive industry, but we knew we wouldn't get that. Because everybody at every table sitting there, including the table that I was at, who all looked at me and go, you must be the last guy that ticket, because we all know there was a seat empty, said, well, we know you're a Disney nut because that's the only reason why you're here. Right?
Exactly.
The whole room was all Disney.
Exactly.
So when we sat down, the table just started talking, going, so what's your favorite restaurant? And goes, oh, I'm booking my trip next week. You're just talking about new trips and about the new rides, things like that. It just went hardcore, right? And then she looked around at everybody, because we're all some people were in couples, someone was single, I was single as well, and we're chatting, and it's just she goes, so how'd you get into Disney? I go, well, my first ride I remember still, was Horizons, and I was at 83.
Oh, wow.
When I went to the park at 83, I don't remember any of my rides. When I went back again, when I was about 8 or 9, we had Horizons still, and that's when I did it. But I was at Epcot in 83, according to my mother. And I do have an old chest here, where you, an old leather chest, old school one. And there's, it's covered right now, so I can't show it to you, but there's a bumper sticker on there that says Walt Disney World from 83. But the bumper sticker isn't a sticker. It's made of hard plastic. They don't make it like that anymore.
Oh, cool.
It's cracked, but it's an old school sticker, and that's my memory of 83 when I was there, when I was only 3 years old. So I don't remember much being there, right? The people at the table asked me, so how did you get into Disney and whatnot? I said, well, beyond that, I said I moderate 20 channels. I now moderate 30 in the last 4 months. I said I moderate 20 channels, and she looked at me and she looked away and goes, and then as we were talking about other things, and goes, well, some of you guys have more knowledge than us, and some people who don't have a lot of knowledge go, I have a DVT and I always go to like the Polynesian. So they're also hardcore people, just not mostly knowledge. And she goes, well, we won't go into who has more knowledge. But I mean, like, this guy, he pointed at me. He goes, he's moderating 20 channels. He's got to be somewhere else. Right?
That's funny.
The conversation was on another level. It's like having a conversation with the people in our community who are hardcore nuts, who are just sitting at a table. I've never met them before, right? You don't have to introduce yourself. You just assume you're already a Disney nut for being at the table. And so it was pretty cool. And there are people who've been to the last events that Bob Gurr did in Toronto, and people who follow him around, you know, who say, I've seen you at other events too, or you were at Florida the other week, you know. So there are people who are really like that. So it's kind of cool to meet other people, but it was just like, I've never been in like beyond our community or going to Walt Disney World where everybody's like a nut for Disney there. I've never been in a room with people in regular clothing. No one was dressed in like Disney clothing. They were all just dressed normal. But when you talk to them, it's like, oh, these guys know more than me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
hardcore. Yeah.
Like, well, I know Avery knows more. Isaac, most of you guys know more history than me because I don't follow as much in the Disney moderating, but these people can just like drop a hat.
He is, Chris.
Things. I'm like, I'm the small guy here. Like, you know.
If any of you have questions, by the way, for Jonathan about this event, please put them in the chat, and we'll kind of be watching for those. So Jonathan, your love of Disney then goes back to your childhood when you first went to the parks, and So when
I went at 83, I'm glad I did now that everybody's like, I wish I could go on Horizons, or people who never did who got to do that stuff, right? I don't remember much of 83, being 3 years old. Yeah. Some kids, some people at my age do know they're that young. I have no memory, but my mother told me we went with my aunt, which is her sister, and just the 3 of us went down. I'm just glad that whether or not I remember it or not, that it's like when Epcot opened, more or less. Yeah. It's like, cool.
Oh, thanks, Keith. Thanks for being here.
To remember it by, but like, where I remember is I went with my dad. And because my mother and my dad separated at some point, and they divorced when I was very young. But I went with my dad, and I went with my cousin, and we went down there. So I got to experience some of the older rides, not all of them. Maybe when I was 2 years old, I may have gone in that.
Thanks for being here, Keith.
There was a ride over in Tomorrowland that was based upon the airline. I never did that unless I went with my mother, which I probably may have done that. So I don't remember it, but we still had Horizons, Captain EO. Manimo.
Yeah. See, I don't remember Captain EO at all. I don't remember Captain EO at all.
That's why, like, when you debate about like, are the new like people's always says out with the old, in with the new. Yeah. I've got nothing wrong with that, but you're gonna put it in the new. Don't just put in the animatronics because of technology and stuff like that. The reason why I like those rides is because you feel like you were there because all the props are real. Right? And that's another reason why I mentioned that to Bob Gur while I had that chat with him for 2 minutes, that all the props feel real. It wasn't just a digital screen.
Yeah.
I think where it does well is like when you look at Rati's Ratatouille ride, sorry, the pronunciation, Ratatouille. I think it merges it well. It does it well, but there are certain rides where it's like, it's more heavily on the digital side, and that's fine if you want to showcase digital, like in Tokyo, when they do their Fantastic show, which is different from ours, they have like full-on digital screen panels at some point being used in the show. Very cool technology, very great, but it feels like now you're just being like, we're an Asian country and we're just going to show you all the digital panels, just like Beijing did with the digital floor this year at the Olympics. So here's the point, when you look at the Olympics, my favorite Olympics is still the British Olympics because they use so much more hands-on props than just digital screening. I get it was pandemic now and we have less things to do, but it's more of a tactile feeling.
Yeah.
So when I argue with Steve going, I want the old ones back, it's not because I'm just harping old memories, it's because I need that tactile feel. So I like Frozen a lot. Frozen's great, but when you were on the older ride, all the puppets in there were all, it felt more real than the digital screens, even though the digital screen's good on Frozen. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why, because I'm a pop guy, right? When you move to digital, it's different now.
Right, it is.
When stuff is tangible, it feels like you could touch it if you wanted to.
That's precisely it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something, that I kind of noticed whenever, back in the day, Universal started to add more and more of those rides that, heavily leaned on screens. And I was like, that's like, first time I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then by like the third time you've ridden a ride with a bunch of screens, it's like, okay, I get it. Like,
yeah. It's
that's why I say, like, my home is always WDW. That's my home. But the more I'm off with Garrett and he goes to the Disneyland park,
oh, hey, Elena.
Rides, they're kiddie rides. But you look at the colors they put into that, with the ride vehicles that go into that, even the older ones. It's something like wondrous and magical about it. Rather than just like, here's a ride car, all the cool effects will just be on the screen that's going to appear as you go into it. Or, our old rides here are good, but it's just the artistry of building a ride car, and like Bob Gur did over there too. The artistry of building things, they put more effort into it. It just seems more, just like when they put the Christmas lights on every year. The effort that goes into that just seems like they're thinking in that mode rather than just here Christmas lights, right? So I
agree. I agree 100%, Jonathan.
More and more in their style over like a Pixar Pier and all that. It's different.
Mm-hmm. I agree on that. Texas Ed had a question back up in the chat. What did you find most interesting in your meeting with Bob Gurr?
So, interesting. I'll say he's good for his age, but I already knew that because we saw Corey's Meets World stream prior, and we were all commenting about that.
Right.
The other good thing is that being able to sit in a smaller seating, almost like a private concert kind of thing, made a difference. So when everybody laughed in the room, it wasn't like a theater of 10,000 people laughing and you're in the back row. It felt more genuine that they're laughing because we all are on the same page. What was interesting, the amount of stuff he's done over the years, it's vast. There are books on it. And you guys probably have all know a lot of the stuff he's done over the years, so I won't go into it. He didn't go into a lot of that, but more into the details of some stuff that people may want to know. The questions already were asked by Designing Magic, the host who did it the year before, and he's also been the host of some other things, I think at Disney as well. But what it was some of the questions were handpicked from what we had asked prior, and then, well, I didn't, but other people did who had bought tickets. You were like, what do you want to hear, right? And so there were questions, and we ended up talking a lot more about his automotive industry, which is great because that's what I wanted, right? Even though I knew we wouldn't get it. He talked about his car making, and he went more into
hi, Stacy. Welcome.
The fight between Chevrolet and Ford, right? Which is like two big U.S. automotive things. Yeah. He ended up working for Ford, right? As we all know. But he actually worked for Chevrolet first. Oh, wow. They hired him. But what happened in the background was Ford, who had all the money, kind of like what we call, I guess, like, I won't say mafia, but they had their gang of people who go, like, we want to hire this guy on our team. Right. So outside, you 5 people with the wallets and the money and stuff, go over there, just show them a check. And then, and even though we won't announce it publicly, he's already with us. Because we already paid him on our table. Go,
hey, Adventures by Dave. Welcome in. Welcome in, Dave.
So, that's what I gather, that's what happened. Ford already said, we want this guy at some point. But that was after he had worked on and off with Ford because he's been bouncing around. He's a freelancer, which is, in theater, it's kind of like what we do. We just read an email, go, here's the next gig. Do you want it or not, right? Do you want to put the show on? So we're a bit like that. So him being a freelancer, but learning on the fly because at the time, he didn't have all the knowledge he has now. So he worked with Ford on and off because he designed cars and just like the designing of it, not the actual building of it. Yeah. And then Ford said, I want you to design this. And Ford said, we're not going to use that car anyway. So he walked away. Chevrolet asked him, we want you to design cars. But under the table, he didn't know at the time, Ford had gone to at the time, he had, I guess, like, he had a guy working for him to help him, like, pick out new jobs, kind of like the way movie stars have their agents, right? Right. Instead of having an agent, the agent already got bought out. Because he goes, we want him on our side, we want him back. It goes, even though he said no, it goes, but we'll also pay you something too, or whatever. There's a whole bunch of things. I don't know the full story, but basically it's like, we found out a week later, Ford already bought you. He belonged to Ford, not Chevrolet. Chevrolet never got him, right? So he didn't really work for Chevrolet, even though he did a lot of that the Cadillac stuff, the car, all the stuff. It's not just Ford, right? He did a bit of everything. All those 70s designs, and you see it in the older rides.
What's the colors?
When it came down to,
red.
We explained this in the show. When it came down to, or in the talk, when it came down to meeting Walt wanted him to build a UFO of some sort. I think you guys know of this, a giant UFO. And in fact, he said today that the UFO that was in one of the older Super Bowls, like, I don't know, there's a video online where it comes down.
Oh, really?
It's going to take people away. He said that to this day, there are still comments when people watch it today. He doesn't know how to use YouTube 100% because when they watch it, there are comments on this guy's video, it's not my video, that say, those are real aliens.
Oh,
and
I hadn't heard that.
They believe in aliens, and there's a whole thread on that. But it goes, there are people who come to him and goes, that's a lie. You never wrote that. They're real aliens. Look how good that is. And they make excuses as to how it's built. Kind of like the way the American flag on the moon is waving, like that's fake. It's altered. And they do that. That's a testament to how good his prop was. Even though he designed it that way.
Wow.
He designed it to fake on purpose. It wasn't meant to be looking real or whatever.
Right.
That's crazy.
Just from the random camera angle, because that thing that came down wasn't held by cranes. What they had was, they had it coming down, but they also had, when it came down, they had it on a string held by an airplane in the clouds up above, so you couldn't see it. And then the helicopters down below who were circling around the thing saying, the aliens here, and the music's playing kind of like...
Oh! When was this, Jonathan? I'm not even familiar with this story. When was this?
When the music... That's what he was telling us. When the music played, which is kind of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I've never seen this video, but he's describing what happened in the Super Bowl. It goes, doo, 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 and the crowd's going, oh my God, we gotta respond to it. It's an alien, right? Or they're just playing the part. It's just like, it's the helicopter circling around that everybody thought, no, it's fake because the helicopters are holding on to the thing.
Right.
It's an airplane higher up. Somehow they had...
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Some other big... I don't know the full just of it, but he was saying that it was that was the gimmick. That's why the people thought it was real aliens.
Right.
The helicopters had no string to it. And it's true, there were no strings, but it's because something else is, the color of it and just the lighting of the old cameras, you couldn't see it on TV or whatever, right?
Right, exactly.
They weren't hiding the strings. They didn't hide the strings.
Wow. I'm going to have to check into that. I'm going to have to look that up. That's fascinating.
You mentioned that. Then that's how Bob Gurr met Walt in a sense because of not because of that, but because of another UFO at the park. Because he's this UFO done and goes, this guy's here, can we do it? The real meeting more or less happened when Bob Gurr was asked, we need to do Autotopia. We need cars to Autotopia. We need a car guy. Because Bob was about like, when I want something built, I just don't want my guys building it in my design.
Right.
I want someone who knows the knowledge in the back of that, right? Like if I build something, let's talk to all the space guys. How would you build a space ride if you were to build one?
Right.
To build my ride, right? So I goes, we need a car guy. So he looked and goes, well, I'm not doing anything right now. He goes, I'm bouncing through jobs and, whatever. It's like, it sounds interesting. I'll do it for you as a side project.
Right.
And that's how it kind of snowballed. And the original cars for that, those shells that were on the car, and there's probably some in the museum, I think there's a few in the museum somewhere, they didn't last long. They lasted only a day. Because they got destroyed, bang up, and it's just how it was built, it wasn't feasible. And the motors burnt out. So when they first opened the park on day one, they had to repair those like overnight constantly.
Right. Right.
So it wasn't until we go, we need to change, Bob Gur, we need to change the design. And he was like, let's do the fiberglass.
Yeah.
Which we have fiberglass in a lot of racing car things now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the initiation of doing fiberglass itself, because he didn't take it from racing cars, but he said, he didn't go, let's do fiberglass. They didn't know what fiberglass was. They made the material.
Right, exactly.
They were like, what's this material? So the more stories we heard from him, wasn't like, they picked Bob Gur because he had knowledge. It wasn't that. Walt would go to him and go, I need this done. Can you do this? And he goes, sure, yeah, I know how it's done. We can do it. And then he'd go to the back room and go, now how the hell do I do this?
Right, exactly.
Like he knew what he was
doing. Trying to figure it out. Yeah.
And
Bob Gur, guys. I'm sure a lot of you know who Bob Gur is, but Bob Gur is a Disney legend, and he just had his 90th birthday. But the man is just amazing. He designed so many of the rides. He had a hand in almost every one of the original rides. I'm sure that Kelly from the Mickey Bunch is very familiar with Bob Gur and the rides that he designed.
Not all the rides, but just like even like if it's not a ride that he designed, it's like the Omni Mover system that did a lot of different rides underneath.
He had a lot to do with the ride vehicles, and and just had a lot of hand in with the other Imagineers, and he's just an incredible. I would love to meet him. Amy, AJC Magic TV, is in the chat. She has met Bob Gurr. Maybe need to have you on at some point, Amy. But So.
So Amy just said he made the Abraham Lincoln. I can't remember the entire story, but he talked about the President's Hall and about the animatronics. Because he told funny stories and things like.
Okay, I need to comment on that. That Bob Gurr, had such a large hand in inventing the animatronic Mr. Lincoln for the 1964 World's Fair, and it's still in Disneyland, and it's in Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
That animatronic, I don't know if that one specifically, but a bunch of them there have gone through iterations and changes. And they all do. They get updates now to modern technology. But in the early days, when he was still around working there, he had made changes.
Stacy.
Because the first one came out, and when you show it to Walt, this is what we're looking at. This is the piece we're going to build, right? And at the time, nowadays, when you build something, even in my theater, when you build something, it goes, tell me what the design is, show me drawings, and we'll build the real thing. Back then, it's like, no, Walt's like, you built the real thing, and if it's not working, then build it again. So they just went through more money.
And
they had drawing stuff. He needs to see a physical prop to say whether or not to like it, rather than a makeup model. He wanted to test it on the real.
That's very true, Ed.
So he mentioned about it. I forget the entire conversation, but he said one of the Lincoln props or something failed and wouldn't turn properly or something like that, and people were making fun of it at one point. And one of the earlier shows back in the early 80s.
Yeah, they had trouble with it. They had trouble with it initially.
Oh yeah, so he told stories about what he did to make it change. I don't remember all of it now because I don't have a recording of it, and it's gone through my head. But he told specific things of what he did to the breast pocket, or he hid something in there that will actually make it turn like a magnet or something because it's on the fly. You didn't have time to repair it one day. Things like that. It's all sort of weird things, right?
Oh yeah.
So, me hearing
they flew by the seat of their pants a lot, Jonathan. I mean, they especially at the outset, they really did.
Me hearing that as a prop builder, just that's what we do sometimes, right? Sometimes you gotta go and say can I build?
Well, you don't do that, do you, Jonathan?
No, but I want to do it, and he's giving me the opportunity, so let's just do it, and then deal with the time constraints later and push it because it'll be fun, and you're not going to win them all, right? And that's what he kind of did in a sense. He more did what by the end of his career, he said, I got to do what I want to do rather than just taking a job for money.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So originally when he did the cars for Walt, it was a job for money. It wasn't that he wanted to. Because Walt goes, build these cars, and he builds them. He goes, but oh, by the way, the wheels can't move, or the front wheel needs to turn, but we're not putting them, we have a motor in them, and it's going to be like a lawnmower motor that goes in there, but it's on a rail. He goes, well, what's the point of that? I design cars. I don't design rides, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because we need to change the body so it fits our design, because that's not what a car does. So he had an argument with him, and then, so later on, as he got his way to build what it is today, and he did all the other stuff, says Walt at one point says, I need you to, you want to come work on, do other stuff? We got other stuff here. So he just started doing other stuff. But the other stuff became like trial and error, right?
Yeah. Right.
Said, I can do that. I've had experience with this stuff. I can do it. And then he went to the bathroom and goes, okay.
How am I going to do this? How in the world am I going to do this?
In my theater, we had changed hands in one of my local theaters, a very tiny theater that only maybe about 100 people almost. It's a short theater. It's not one of the bigger ones in our city that does Broadway. And
good night, Nick. Thanks for being here.
Hands on that theater, and a new guy came in, and there's nothing wrong with it because they're all friends in our community kind of thing. So he wasn't like, who's the new guy, right? The new director came in, but apparently the shows that were supposed to go on already, that's scheduled, he forgot about one. So he posted on his email saying, we need to come in and do a show, but who here are carpenters? I go, that theater doesn't do carpentry. Like, I can do carpentry, but that theater doesn't do it. There's no carpentry workshop downstairs. There's nothing. It goes, we need carpenters because this show needs to be built. I go, sure. And I replied an email, what do you need? He goes, well, nothing big. The person who's renting out the place doing the show will come in with their whole set, and we're just going to help them set it up. So they're going to walk in with a set, install it. I go, well, that's easy. Sure, I can do that. you just happen to want carpenters because it's better knowledge or whatever, or people who does props. I'm like, sure. So I met a new guy who worked with me, who knew all my friends at school, because he's worked with every one of them in different theaters. I haven't yet, but because of the theater I worked in, the theater school I went to, even though it's only a college, I said, well, what school did you go to? I said, I went to Humber. He goes, oh, I must know your classmates, because he worked with a lot of them, and he knew a lot of them. Right? He goes,
oh, neat.
You don't need to talk anymore. I trust your safety knowledge. That was just it, right? It's just like,
oh, wow, cool.
One of those things, right?
Cool.
Because like you're a new guy, like do I trust you putting my ladder or doing whatever, right? It's like, no, we're good.
Thanks,
I'm like,
Ed.
sure? I'm like, no, we're good, right?
Oh,
I've never
Darren.
And
welcome
so
in Magnificent Germany with Darren.
He talked to me on the day we got there about this, and this is before we met the boss who worked there, who came to talk to us. We were he was standing in the room with me because there's a coffee shop cafe in our theater that people use, that just people go and sit and do like papers and stuff and all that. And so I was sitting there for half an hour, and he came over and goes, you must be Jonathan, because I'm here to work with you. He knew who the other guy was that was working with him. And so I chatted with him for half an hour, and then when it was time to go to work in the room next door, our boss showed up and goes, so she's going to come in, and we're going to build this thing. I go, build? I was like, okay, so she's going to come in with the set broken down pieces, and we'll put it together. Go through it and do whatever. He walks away, goes, I'll be back. Comes back with a blueprint rolled up. And, Bill's like, that's scary. This is like Bob Gurr's notion, right? Why are you coming to us with a blueprint? First of all, you don't have a workshop here. Second of all, what he's wanting to build, because the show is supposed to happen like in a couple of days. Like, he forgot that as a new guy taking over, he forgot the show was happening on schedule. Yeah. So when he got to it, goes, oh, we were supposed to build something for them, right? That I didn't know too. He mentioned it, and he showed the blueprint. I go, what's this? He goes, we got to build something for them. You have 3 days to build it. I go, I mean, I didn't have to take the job. It's just like, it doesn't matter. I took the next job. I can skip and say no, but this would be fun. But at the same point, do you have tools here? I know what's downstairs. Because downstairs we have like a spare wrench or something, or to do the lighting and stuff like that. We don't have cutting boards and like full-on table saws, right?
Yeah.
And we ended up having a table saw. It was a portable one, but you couldn't cut diagonal angles. It was only straight cut. So I had to play around with the wood. Yeah. And I had to cheese it. And what he wanted us to build was basically, I forget what the show was for, but the best description, because literally what we built was exactly that, was a skateboard ramp. It was a curved piece of wood that went up like this.
Yeah.
That was like 8 foot wide, and it had a frame behind it. Even though it's laid on with the curves, to do that is no simple task. And he goes, here, we got wood to cut. We'll bring in the wood pieces. We'll do a cost. We'll bring it in. And he said, and then his other buddy who does all the lighting, he's had a lighting in that place. He's been working there for years. He came by, as I was discussing with my friend who's a carpenter as well, and we're looking, how are we going to do this? Well, I got my tools in the truck, right? He bought a truck with my tools. I said, my tools are at home, but like, we need to. I'll come back when I come back tomorrow. I'll bring the rest of them out, right? I'm like, we need to get this done. He doesn't have tools. The guy came back, and he's a lighting guy. He does all the lighting here. Came back with a staple gun, like I guess a bit more commercialized, but the one you squeeze, commercialized one. And he goes, this will help when you do the wood. I go, no, it won't. We need an air compressor. I didn't tell him that personally, because he put it next to us when we were chatting. And I said, thank you, because he's kind of our boss. He said, thank you. As he walked away, I go, we need a fucking air compressor. Excuse my language.
Oh,
but you know what?
Jonathan.
Sorry. But literally, we said we needed an air compressor with a nail gun, which he didn't have.
Sorry.
Right? And it was just like, so we told our boss, he said, we need this. End of story. We know that where there is one, where you have to go and give the man a case of beers, the guy who owns that other workshop, and then he'll lend it to you, because I said he can't, my friend said, I'm in touch with him, he's going to lend it. So we ended up having the tools to do it, but it's kind of like Bob Gurr. We were on the fly, and we go, if it's not perfect, well, he doesn't get a choice, because it's not a workshop, and he's demanding so much out of us, right? So I was like making angle cuts on a cutter that wasn't able to do that. We were like coming up on the fly. And so that kind of brought back to me when I went to see Bob Gurr, and he started chatting about this outer conversation about being on the fly going, oh, no, we got this, we can build this, right? Or being, at times he was thrown things by Walt goes, Walt's like, at the time when he was go-to man for Walt goes, oh, by the way, I need you to add this, this, and that. Mm-hmm. And he knew that if he didn't do it right, Walt could just say, no, you're done here. Right. Other guys who would do it, even though he's the top man at the time, but he needs to also keep that representation up there, that he still is the top man. So he goes, yes, I can. And then
he tries to figure it out.
And he goes, no one's ever done that. And
never let him see you sweat. Never let them see you sweat.
So he went to the back and he goes, "We'll try treading water and we'll see what happens." Right? So hearing all those stories, it's like made me feel not better as a prop builder, but just it just like verifies like now other people who aren't prop builders who go see like shows go, "Well, that's cool. Someone's wearing a mask, but someone may have spent 2 hours."
Yeah. Oh, hey, Debbie. Welcome in.
Debbie.
My son Adam, and I realize this is not, on the scale of what you do, Jonathan, but my son Adam was in theater in school, and they had to build sets and things for different plays that they did, and it really fascinated me. It's very fascinating to me what you do, and how you can trick the audience into thinking they're seeing something that they're really not seeing, and so how you can project ideas with lighting, and it's really interesting, Jonathan. My hat's off to you.
I wouldn't say how to trick the audience. One thing is that, especially when we're in our school and we have a theater black box, and the black box in the theater is all black. And they put out a seat last minute, you go sit and you perform in a black box room. We were able to build a prop and go, okay, what does it look like under the lighting in the theater room? And then bring it back and go, we need to play it this way. Because the designer wants this lighting, right? Even though the designer is more lenient because they're teaching a school, but we're taught that when the designer comes in, you're going to do it like on a real show. So they'll come in, they'll give you designs, this is what we want, and you'll work with them. And the good thing about it is, because before I took cartooning, design this and cartooning prior, I took regional and urban planning, which is designing buildings and plots where homes go and stuff. I took it for a semester in a high college, not university, and it wasn't me because it was like everything's by the number, which we do in woodworking. Everything's by the number, measure twice, cut once. But what it was though was that you don't get a say as to how it's done. It's only done one way only, because of all the rules of where a building can go, where the sidewalk can go. In theater, when I took cartooning originally, I got to draw what I wanted to draw, and then there's an opportunity you could go work at a cartooning school in a college that partnerships with Disney. Now I had friends who did that in the past, but when they left, they didn't take advantage of that. They said, I did my own comics, and I'm selling them at the convention. They've been doing that for years now, because Disney owns everything you do, per se. Nothing wrong with it. If you want to be a Disney guy, that's great. So anything you do on the side, even if you're drawing at home, you can't sell. It's under Disney. So if you want to do your own stuff, it's not there. And I like Disney. I've met people who did like All Dogs Go to Heaven. He was teaching a summer school once, and I got to talk to the guy, right? Yeah. And it's fun, but so there was that. And then I did cartooning, just learning how to do stuff for like comic books and stuff. And then it didn't go anywhere as much because I realized I was into props.
Interesting, Debbie.
So when I build props, all that drawing techniques come to useful. The people in the prop class would go, well, I want it to look like this or build it this way. And they're trying to describe it when the object's not there. And I go, oh, you mean like this? And I'll draw it in 3D in 10 seconds on a piece of paper. So not everybody can draw like you. Right? So they'll give me that attitude. Like, I apologize, but just I have a background of it, right? It feels that. Bob Gurr has a bit of a background of drawing. Like, all this stuff all comes together, right? Now, the good thing with theater is that when you build a prop, the person will come to you and goes, I need, for example, if someone asks for a flower, I need a flower to be built, because someone's going to hold it in the end, and then cry in the moment of the flower, and then drop it on the floor, right? Fake flower. And we just want you to build one because you're learning. We don't want to take it. Usually in theater, we just take one that's already pre-built from like a dollar store or something. Right. Because you're saving money. That's what theater does. Theater's not all about building the grand stuff. But in our school, we got to do that because we want you to learn both sides at the same time. Right. So we had a shop upstairs that's a storage full of stuff, but we didn't use a whole lot of it unless it was like a movie carriage or something, because they wanted us to constantly build and learn building techniques. So I built a flower, and it goes, build it and then do it. But the good news is, they didn't ask us how they wanted it built. There were no rules as to like, they may ask you, we want it with this material because the person needs to hold it or it needs to be but the exact technique of how to build it is never stated. So as a prop builder, I'm being told what to do, but at the same time, it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get to that end goal. As long as I light that up on that elevator, Bob Gur, you're good. Doesn't matter how you do it. You can use any technique you want. So that car goes around. So we get to have free range of what we do.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where the artist of like being a cartoonist and the artist comes back to there being free range. And Bob designing his cars back in the day, same thing. So that's where my love of theater in that sense comes from. There are limitations where they say, no, I want you to change the design. But there are times where I wow people and they're just like, oh my God, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Right?
Right.
So there are all sorts of things like that. And it's just in that sense. So when Bob talks about his history, about going through the process and all that stuff, which is where, that's why I noticed a lot of people who I didn't talk to a lot of people other than my table. A lot of them were all people who have done theater before, younger kids, like I said, who are just getting into it. And Bob Gurr's like their drive to to do more, right? He's not exactly my inspiration to me when I build my props, but every time I build a prop, it's like, can I make it so that it has other uses for it, right? Yeah. Can I do it like Bob Gurr? I'm not designing something that a person will hold on a ride. I'm designing something that you'll sit in, something that's more obtainable. Like I said, the rides, they're all obtainable. You feel like you're there, right? So,
well, and I'm sure that, you know, as Bob Gurr began to work with Disney and he began to understand kind of the direction that Walt, you know, wanted to go with a certain project, that he was able then to come up with, you know, with designs that were more in line with what Walt had imagined originally. And that's what so many, Rolly Crump and, you know, Mark Davis and you know, all of the Imagineers and early Imagineers that worked for WED, you know, that just, you know, the thing about it is, you know, we're looking at it from this side, Jonathan. We see everything already done. When Walt, you know, was first designing Pirates of the Caribbean or you know, Tomorrowland, Autopia, you know, Haunted Mansion, well, they just had to figure it out. I mean, if you watch, you know, I highly recommend, we've recommended it before, go watch Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus.
And the Imagineering story as well.
And the Imagineering story. And it gives you a great look at how these great early Imagineers, you know, just dove into these projects and said, okay, it's like you said, Jonathan, how do we do this? How are we going to do this? And it was just from scratch.
The stuff that I'm saying, how do we do this, is so minor to what he does. So when we look at the rides now, like Haunted Mansion, you know how it's done because you've seen Behind the Attraction stuff. But at the same point, at this age of like 2022, there's a name for that style of building that prop, or that way of building that thing, right?
There you go, Tana.
Names and nicknames. But he invented those nicknames. So when he did it, he didn't have a list of nicknames to go, oh, do it this way, do it that way, one of these 10 styles. It's like, it's literally like the dictionary has not been written yet.
Exactly. Right? And they wrote it.
The Omni-Mover system was not a thing prior to that point.
None of it was. Some of the stuff that he did on the fly, even when he talked about him working in the automotive industry, some stuff that he did on the fly in there, which is like, he invented some of the stuff that techniques are still used today in automotive industries and other things. Never mind.
It's just, it's incredible.
It's just the stuff that people do in the industry is because of him.
That's right.
It wasn't just Disney and ride vehicles. He invented a lot of the industry out there.
He did. He absolutely did. Yeah. And so much of, you know, some like the pull system for the Matterhorn, for example, was the first of its kind. It was the Matterhorn was a completely unique track system, you know, and the same with Rock and Roller Coaster. By the way, Rock and Roller Coaster was the first roller coaster, and shout out to my brother-in-law Jerry, who was in charge of welding team on Rock and Roller Coaster. Was the first ride system to use magnets instead of pull chains.
Yeah.
So, you know, so much of. And it's not just those things, Jonathan. I think that's...
The Omni-Mover system that's used in the older rides also has technology used in the wheelchairs and things right now. There's certain ones like that. So that's just a testament to his work, not just because we're fans of his parks and stuff. It's a testament to being like, almost like he deserves the Pulitzer Prize or something, because like he invented things out there, like, you know...
and so many of them. You know, Walt's vision for things was brought to life by these people, and Bob Gurr was such an intricate, you know, such an important cog in that wheel. He literally designed things that, for motion, which was one thing that Walt was really fascinated by movement, any kind of movement. And so all of these great, rides that we ride today, People Mover, roller coaster, the trackless ride system, the Omni Mover, all of these things are things that Bob Gurr, straight out of his brain, straight out of his head. And so,
people. It wasn't just him. It was a team of people, right?
It was. And but they made, Walt was so good at bringing together people from different corners, maybe, of industry, and putting them together, and together they would build something wonderful. He had a knack for bringing together all these talented people. And so,
like, when I build a ride, let's get the people who actually do the real thing in real life, like either a rocket or cars, and let's see what their input is, right? That's why.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I was getting a little lag.
Well, I skipped for a second. You're good. But so you get those people in there and you get them involved, and that just pertains how Bob Gurr got involved, and he ended up being, to Bob Gurr's testament, a lot of stuff he talked about too that wasn't just Disney or his cars. He talked about Universal rides. He did quite a bit of Universal rides. The original King Kong is his, right?
Yes.
The movies, he did movies. Some of the original movie props out there, the biggest ones out there, belong to him. Stuff like that, right? So to hear that, as much as like I'm not 100%, like I'm more Disney than Universal, but the stuff that went wrong with the rides and the stuff that he had to put out, and Universal said, if it doesn't look like the way we want it, we don't want it out there. So, so you can show us all this stuff. You can go, this is what King Kong's supposed to do and like. It goes, well, that's not how we want it. So go back and do the drawing board again. We'll pay you, but go back and do it again. So there's all of that stuff. And he went back and forth in Universal at one point. He left it and came back on it. So there's a lot more than just Disney per se, but most of us here know him because of Disney and our love of Disney.
Sure, we do. But
you go to Universal, all the older rides that has his name stamped on it somewhere. Because it's part of that somewhere.
Yeah, it's really quite amazing. Let's see. Should I do this day in Disney history? Should I go into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of things.
Let's just a couple of things, guys. This day in Disney history. And there wasn't a whole lot today, but I did want to mention a couple things. 1969 film director, writer, and voice actor Don Hall. Happy birthday to Don Hall, who was born in Glenwood, Iowa. His Disney credits include Tarzan, The Emperor's New Groove, Chicken Little, Winnie the Pooh, Big Hero 6. He co-directed 2016 Moana, and he also voiced Coach and Gaston from Aguchi in Meet the Robinsons, and Darnell in Princess and the Frog. So lots of good Disney history there for Don Hall, and his name is recognizable if you know your Disney Imagineers and voice actors. 1983, U.S. President Ronald Reagan paid a visit to Epcot, escorted by Dick Nunes and president of Walt Disney World and several hundred math and science students from Central Florida. He first visits the American Experience attraction before making an afternoon speech at a podium located on the World Showcase Lagoon of Spaceship Earth. Reagan speaks of the promise.
Lagging out a little bit.
Yep, we may have lost her.
Let's see. You lagged out a little bit there. So, yeah. Ronald Reagan spoke this day in 1983, went to Epcot and spoke of the promise of Epcot Center and what it meant to his friend Walt Disney and to the world.
Yeah, pretty cool there. And what it still means, I think, to the world. Epcot is just a wonderful place. Forward thinking, keep moving forward was Walt's battle cry there. Also, I did want to mention, last Tuesday, we wished Cat Cressida a happy birthday. She is, of course, the voice of the Haunted Mansion bride, Constance Hatchaway, and we wished her a happy birthday last Tuesday. And then again on our Instagram account, I wished her a happy birthday, and she actually replied. So that was kind of our thrill for the week. We appreciate it, Kat. When I first set up our Hitchhiking Bones Instagram account a couple of years ago or more, Kat Crystal was one of our first followers. So we thank you so much, Kat Crystal, that we appreciate your talent and all of the voices. She's the voice of she voices Dee Dee Dexter's Laboratory. You can look her up. She just does a lot of great voices for Disney and other companies. So just wanted to mention that.
A few more questions for you, less related to Bob Gurr and the party. Let's see. How often? So when's the last time you've been to the parks? How often have you been to the parks over the years?
Ooh. I've never told anybody when's the last time I've been to the parks because I'm ashamed to say.
Jonathan!
No one's asked me. I haven't been.
Okay, does that mean that we might kick you out as a mod if you haven't been to Disney?
No, well,
I'm gonna take your wrench.
I was there when we had our version of Toontown and GM Studios.
Yeah.
So there's a picture of me and my cousin with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, busted through the wall.
Oh, neat.
That picture was also taken the same day. I rode People Mover twice in the monsoon, kind of like the way Josh did it.
Oh, wow.
I got to do it in the rain, and he said, "Go again if you want," and it was pouring buckets, and I loved it.
There you go.
There,
nice.
Since then, after that, I've been there, but not before 2000, easily.
Oh, wow, Jonathan, you're overdue.
You're overdue.
From 2000, because my family, my sister went without me. I was just busy with other things. And the keychain shows when Animal Park came in. So it had all 4 parks on the keychain, one in each corner of it, and it's a pewter keychain. It's put away over there, but it's a pewter keychain, and it says Disney World 2000. And that's when the number is when it first came out. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I've never used it either because I didn't want to damage it. It's just
right. Yeah. You have some cool stuff, Jonathan.
That book I mentioned. This is one of them.
Oh, very cool.
So it's just you can get it used for $70 for anybody who actually wants it. It's a month-50 thing. And what it does is, just in general, it teaches you how to draw while being in a meeting really fast. There's a lot. What it does is there's a lot of like how to rapid draw like this. And there's a lot of like commercial stuff in here, like stuff for different companies to talk about it. What's in it though is there's a few of these. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh wow!
Huh? We can.
And that's the RCA.
Wow.
That's Horizons, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really talk about the history of it, but they're talking about companies way back in the day. There's books from the 70s about how they draw and produce things to show to people that never get built.
Oh, that'd be fascinating to look at.
There's original drawings from different parks. There's only a couple that are Disney in here on both books, but it's got a bunch of stuff in there that's like from Horizons because it's the RCA original drawings and the black and pen to get them on a little paper. Now it's to be done, but back then it was all hand done, right? So my stepdad handed me down that because I got into architecture for a bit, and as a drawer, it's still good. And then one day I looked through it, I go, I recognize that ride, that seating, right? Because it's my favorite ride. Out of all the rides, it's my favorite ride. It's like, oh my god, I actually have like something from it. So I showed it to Josh and Jenna once because Josh is a big fan of Horizons. I messaged him and said, hey, look what I have. I got a book for this.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Neat. Yeah, we love the history. There's just so much, Jonathan. People go in the parks and they look and they just see rides. They don't think past just having a day and riding the rides and having a fun time, which is fine. That's fine. But there's just a Kelly of Mickey Bunch and I, we've all talked about it, how we do love all of the history and the meaning and the rich value of the things that Walt did, and not just to build the parks, but it's like you said, things, inventions that have spilled over into our daily lives, not limited to the parks. So I appreciate it. Stacy, you are way overdue. We have established that you are overdue for a trip to Walt Disney World. So
I'm overdue. My sister keeps telling me to go. She wants to go with me, but I said if I go with you though, I may not see you because I have a whole community I want to see first.
So that's true.
You don't know them. You're not even if I say this is my friend, you're like, oh, well, nice to meet you. But the level that we're on, where we just hang out for a day, like I hang on Jeff's stream for a day or anybody's streams, like, but aren't you wanting to come here with me and do this? I'm like, no, I don't really. If I go, I haven't been in years. If I go, sure, there's that inkling that I should go and do all the rides, right? Do my favorite rides. Beyond People Mover in the morning or something, I'd rather go hang on someone's stream and just hang out all day. Because it's our community.
Well, you can just pick somebody because there's so many streamers.
We're always out Disney. If Thanos Snaps His Fingers and didn't have Disney, we'd still be here. We just have a different topic, right? Yeah. And it's our community that holds it together. Disney
That's
just
true.
happens to be the fuel for it.
Yeah. That's what brought you, by the way. I've got that question in my notes, Jonathan.
How did you find the community? Like, who'd you? I guess kind of how'd you get into it?
Funny enough, I mentioned on This and That's channel, and because they had me on for a couple of minutes one time, and it was actually great that I was on them first because my first time being on someone's channel, more or less. And actually, my first channel button was from you guys actually.
Oh,
you sent me the button, which is in the display case. The cup, 50th anniversary Haunted Mansion cup. Which is odd, because I thought my first button would come from a channel I modded, and you weren't the one I started modding with, right? But I told This and That, the same thing I'm going to tell you now, and that is that I was on Jenna's channel for the longest time. It'd be on Fridays, I'd go and watch these, only Fridays, just go and watch them on Fridays.
Yeah.
If you want live more than Fridays, you were like, oh, I got to stay up on Saturday morning to go and see him live or something. That's cool.
Right.
He said one day, and I believe he was in Bad Shoe in Disneyland when it opened up. At the point.
And we were there, by the way. We met Josh and Jenna for the first time in Disneyland at the opening of Galaxy's Edge.
I didn't know. I don't think I knew you back then. But by the time you got to that stage, I was chatting in chat like for a while. I'd say something, but I'm not going to be able to say hi because it's like 10,000 people flowing through.
Right.
Now it is, but even then it was still a lot. And then at one point, so I was amazed that he was still able to chat with us. Like every Friday, you can still I can go in there and he'll say hi. He'll catch me somewhere, right?
I know. How does he do that, Jonathan? Josh is so good. He does the same thing with us. How does he?
I don't mod for him. I don't chat a lot on the channel. I'm barely in it nowadays with all my modding. But if I message him personally and send him a photo, even though they have like 10,000 subscribers who message him on Instagram all day long and they ignore half of it, it's like he'll thank me for it. He recognizes, no worries, thank you, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I like that he's going out of his way rather than like, I have 10,000 people, I can't read everybody's comment.
Yeah.
And that's fine that you can't, but you have to filter out our core community sometimes from the rest of that.
Right.
And he knows I'm still there because I got the mod to feed other people at the same time.
Yeah.
So he said during that time, that's when he jumped to subscribers first jump. And he made that big push where it really made a difference, right? He's been climbing, but it really climbed up at too. And I was there all weekend long from start morning to end. I had it on the TV, and then I was chatting on the phone once in a while, but it was constantly on. Like I don't think I had unlimited internet back then. I ran out of internet literally. He said at one point, he goes, "Check out my friends going live. It's their first time going live. These are great people. They're going live, and it's like one of the guys was a mod. I believe it was Dave who was the mod. He was in there. Dave from Brandy and Dave, and it's like." Because they're going live, and it turns out it wasn't their first live; it was their second live. But the first time they didn't press the live button; they just did it personally between the four of them.
Right.
And so they went live. I don't remember chatting in there, but I watched the entire thing and go, "This is fun." But I was just like, because I didn't know them personally in the community, right? And I don't. Back then, I didn't go into new communities and go, "Hey, it's me. Let's start a conversation." Now I do that. And it's not because of this community; it's just because I was new to the YouTube back then.
Right.
I have a second YouTube channel. The current one that you guys know me by has no content. I have one that had like 5 videos because I used to be a cameraman for a YouTube channel that was elsewhere. And that YouTube channel that I have, the date on it says 2001 or something when it first, YouTube pretty much first started. So I've been around that long, but it's just like, I hadn't been around in terms of like chatting and chats and stuff. It's just, I've been around in terms of making videos.
Right.
Right?
Interesting.
And so he said, go say hi. And I may have said hi, But they said hi back. Let's welcome Jonathan, whoever you are, right? They don't know Ryan, right? And that's it, right? They went on with whatever, because that first one, it wasn't about the community they were chatting to. It was more about, we're going to chat what we're going to chat anyways. We just want to watch, see what happens. And then since then, I went and started watching all of it all the time, right? So when they got me on the screen for the first time, when they were recognizing just old people in the community, it's just like, they're like, oh, and it's the first time ever going live, and it's with us. Like, oh, yeah, and it means more, because without you, I would have probably just been kind of like somewhat in Resort TV 1, saying hi to a few people every day. And because of that, I now moderate like 20, 30 channels.
Yeah.
So that's how it began.
Yeah, and all of us have a story, you know. The first time that we met Josh and Jenna again was a couple of days after Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland opened. So if you look at their stream from June the 3rd, 2019, we are in it. And it was before, it's my husband Jeff and I were, and then it wasn't till a couple of months after that we decided to start our YouTube channel, and Josh and Jenna were, were instrumental.
About you, they ran into several people, but I didn't know all of them, but they ran into people who were like, oh yeah, we you and stuff.
Oh, like, hey. Oh, great, Mike. Yeah, we ran into them actually in Smugglers, in the line queue for Smugglers Run. And so,
speaking of Mike, to finish this question off, the next bit as to why I do so much now is because of, I'd say, it has to do with Mike and Pam and everybody else, but it has to do with the fact that Myers and the Mouse, they used to do a lot of road trip streams in the car. And you can see in chat, we always park and make fun of it all the time, but people go, what's this road trip stream? Well, we used to pretend that we were in the car, pretending we were in the car with them, in the back seat causing trouble.
Right.
In the back and we used to do this, right? And then, so I said, because I've taken road trips across Canada, gone to the States.
Are we there yet?
My dad has a timeshare in South Carolina, so we used to go down south all the time. And so I made a joke. I'm trying to sleep back here. Leave me alone. and then Mike and Pam were arguing about drawing hidden riches on each other. I go, let's draw on Jonathan. So now Mikey always says, no, you didn't see it. I drew one on you somewhere. Yeah, I'm not telling you where it is, right? So I told Mikey since, I said, I don't wear tattoos, but if I ever get a tattoo, it'd probably be I'd go to Michael, Mike, draw me a hidden Mickey on me, like on a piece of paper over my arm, and I'll take that and put it on tattoo, because that's part of where this community stems from since then. Of me ignoring everybody and getting more involved.
Yeah, now Mama and Papa never did have to pull over because y'all were, did they? You know, causing trouble back there. Don't make me pull this car over. We've all heard that at one time or other, right? Mike, I'm so excited for you guys. If y'all stream, we'll be watching for a live stream. I don't know if Russ is planning on live streaming, but yeah.
Going back then.
Yeah.
So, one more question related to the parks.
Yeah.
What would be your perfect day at, say, okay, you're going back, spare no expense, you can do whatever you want to at the parks. Which park are you going to? What are you going to do?
That's a tough one. Does it also include that we can see Walt or any of the Imagineers, anybody, or no?
Anything, just your perfect park day. This is your day. What would you do? Spare no expense, anything.
Not Bob Gurr's thing, but just because of like the prop builder or just wanting to be. I don't want to know how it's built. I just want to be there while it's
wow.
So I'm like, here's a ride that's not quite finished. Walt walks up with Bob, and like I'm just walking around with them as like a guy with a notepad taking notes from or something, just listening to all this stuff and inputting with them type of thing.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Say, like,
now that's interesting. That's a unique answer.
Yeah, it is.
Jonathan.
I mean, people always say, like, let's go to dinner with Walt. I want to hear more. Like someone said that the other day on Florida Park for network stream that I want to go sit in the original Carousel Progress with Walt and just enjoy the moment with him. I'm like, well, I take that to another level. I'd go on a ride with him, but just like we'd have a chat about not just the making of the ride, but about like being that era, the ride of the era, and about things we wanted to do. Because at that time when we were meeting him, he still hadn't finished the park. So it's like,
exactly.
What's next? And you just have that chat while you're doing this. So you're not just being on the ride with an inventor. You're actually talking about and doing more. Like it's a conversation. And I think that would be kind of cool in that sense.
That would be amazing. Along those lines, I would love to have sat in on one of the brainstorming sessions where all of the Imagineers that worked on the Haunted Mansion were presenting their ideas to Walt.
I would also like to sit in a brainstorming session where it kind of failed for like Bob Gurr, where it's like, that's not what I asked for. And it's kind of like,
try again.
there are times where he's built the entire thing ready to go, and Walt's going, no, but can you make this move now? You're close. Right. So I want to move, but to make a move, you have to add a whole new motor inside.
Right.
That's what happened to the Lincoln guy.
Yes.
We have to start from scratch because there's no point taking it apart. So
wow.
I like to be there in that moment when it happens, just see like, okay, so now these guys are just like, not as a funny thing, like now what do we do now? But like, just seeing like, let's do it.
Right.
Right.
Right. I agree. I think that's a neat answer, Jonathan. Thanks for that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to our notes. William, we're trying to kind of get a lot in tonight.
So, I'm about to say, I'll show. Let me screen share again.
Bring up the rest of the little pictures.
Yeah,
we've got a couple
these
things
pictures will go by pretty quick.
Mention. And we talked about Jonathan. You were talking about a monsoon that happened on the People Mover when you were there.
Look at Steve's World today.
They actually had that last night. I heard that Steve and also Corey, they were like caught in a flash flood, and people were like wading through ankle deep water.
Yeah, the Disney baker was driving home from work, so he actually I told him to drive safe and don't go live with it, but he went live apparently, and it's just like he turned it on in his car, and it's just like rain coming down in the dark, and he's driving. He's safe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Sensi, that looks good.
Yeah.
So there's so there on the right is the Sensi warmer for the 50th anniversary. So it's really got the bunting and everything on the castle.
Yeah, 50th medallion.
Yeah, and looks really good.
Yeah.
So there's Jillian's Sensi link. If anybody's interested.
With the 50th logo. The milking tray.
Really pretty.
Milking tray.
Yeah. So I'm really I ordered that. It went live this morning, guys. I went ahead and ordered one, and I also ordered the scent pack that went with it. So.
What kind of scent went with it though? Was it a specific scent for the 50th anniversary?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
Looks.
Do you know what the scent smelled? What the description for the scent was?
I don't. I did not look, William. I did not look. So, but it's still available, guys. So go check it out. Yeah. If you go to the Scentsy page, in order to find it, you have to click on collections, Disney collections, and then Disney parks. So those are the two clicks that you have to make to find. And this is a pre-order. So
that was an awesome pin you got there. That marble pin.
We sometimes get good pins at the store, but we don't have a store anymore. And I'm not at the park.
Yeah, we have that marble pin, William. We have that marble pin.
One?
We've got that one.
Yeah, you can't get it anymore, even though it's limited release.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. Cool.
Yeah, we have
Very
that
cool.
one. Yeah, we have that one.
Then we got the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie coming up, and there is a lounge fly that was released that glows in the dark. It's got Flong. It's got
I need that. I have to have this, guys. I gotta have this.
Doctor Strange, and also America Chavez, which is the character we haven't seen in the MCU up to this point.
That's true.
But very cool backpack. It glows in the dark. You got Scarlet Witch there on top, and Flong, America Chavez, and then Doctor Strange is there with kind of the astral thing going on.
And it does have the wallet to match, so I'm gonna be watching for this one when it drops. I really want this. Doctor Strange, as y'all know, is near and dear to our hearts. So,
is this a Madame Leota candle?
That is released? A candle. That's a candle that was released. I think it was released last week. It's a new Haunted Mansion candle. Cool. I believe that was released at Disneyland. So that's just kind of a cool look. Probably will be available at Disney World at some point.
Let's see, and then I saw this on Jeff and Angela Diz Our Dreams page, and they put out a video actually on some of this merch, I think. Check them out. Jeff and Angela Diz Our Dream is their channel. But it's Minnie Mouse ears with both the ears are oranges that look like sliced oranges with some flowers that are little white flowers, One of the oranges says "Squeeze Me." The
so cute
headband is green with orange bird mini.
Those
bow.
are pretty.
So it's got the bow with the orange bow, bird little pin in the middle, and then it's an orange bow with the designs and has orange bird on it. Yeah. Let's see here. We have the Stitch Crashes Disney plushes. So they have Peter Pan, which is there on the left. It's green. Has some kind of the map, if you can kind of visualize that.
Yeah, really
from
cute.
The Peter Pan movie. And it's got silhouettes of the Lost Boys and Peter flying through the air, and also Tinkerbell is in Stitch's left ear. So pretty neat. And then the Pocahontas one is kind of a pink and purple swirl color with the colors of the wind leaves kind of flowing through it. It's wearing the plush is wearing the Pocahontas necklace that Coco pulls off.
Yeah.
But and also has a blue cap on as well.
Yeah, really cute. I think Jillian needs that.
Yeah, she mentioned it. And then, as a reminder, the McDonald's has the Stitch toys currently in the Happy Meals, and I think they're probably nearing the end of that promotion, possibly. But there's a Sip and Stitch that Mom's got a picture of here.
There are eight different little Stitchies, and they're just really cute. And I've showed these before, but here's Sit and Stitch. This is Sit and Stitch. I think he's so cute with his little ears down. And then I also have, I'm going to try to get a couple more guys before they're Surf and Stitch.
Oh, very cool. I hadn't seen the Surf and Stitch. That's neat.
Yeah, isn't it cute? So they're really cute. Yeah. So those are in the Happy Meals, but probably not for very long. So if you're interested in getting any of those, check them out at McDonald's.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, Samantha. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, so that's just kind of some Disney news there, guys. And I guess all the water cleared out of the parks. I heard it was at Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. Jonathan, did you? I think those were the two parks.
Steve Stream. So
And he was at Animal Kingdom.
That there's heck no way he's going to go into the park. And I saw Disney they were driving home, and it's just like driving in heavy rain at night. It's like, be safe, you know.
Right. I'm sure. Yeah. Golly, I've never seen that happen before. It's just kind of it's very strange. Just
I've seen puddles flood that way underneath by where the People Mover ride is, underneath the archways in Tomorrowland. There's been a few times where I've seen puddles build up there just because the land's not
right. That's true. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised that I guess Florida's not used to that. So they don't have like here, even in Toronto, sure, we get that in certain areas where the road's uneven and all the water.
Sure.
Unless our drains get flooded, they'd all slowly lead to a drain or something. But just like over there, it's like you don't have. Like he pointed to the ground, and said, "Here's a drain," but it's clogged. The drain is only like this wide.
Yeah.
Go to a city drain. You should have city drains somewhere around the park. That's going to drain.
Hollywood Studios too, right, Stacy? Golly, yeah. I'll have to check that out. I was kind of busy yesterday and didn't get on some of the streams for too long.
I think Donna was yelling in the chat like, "Get Sam home! Don't you two it because he's running around with Sam in the rain." What are you guys doing?
Mom was
later.
What are you doing? Oh my goodness! Well, I'm glad it obviously dissipated today because there were some vloggers in, and I guess it ran off, which is a good thing. I did want to mention, guys, the Disney shareholders meeting is going to be tomorrow. If anybody is interested in that, the information is in the description of the video. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. And it's going to be by virtual. It's going to be virtual, of course, and the links are in the description of the video below. But it's at 10 a.m. Pacific, and if you're interested in that, I'll be on that because a lot of times they will make some. They'll drop some little announcements to the shareholders before before the things are announced elsewhere.
For the announcement that Bob is going to leave, it ain't going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either, Jonathan. But that would, I do know that there's a push to, there's a push. It's not going to amount to anything, to vote him off the board. He would still be.
For everything either, so it's just
that's true. That's true. But yeah, he's not a very popular guy. But okay, Mikey.
You guys, really quick. And that's that. So I don't know if you know, and I've told some of the people in my community, I'm slowly building Lego minifigures of our community.
Really?
I have an example, because I think DP's head's in here, even though it's the wrong... I had DP's head in here at one point. So, like, for example, this was supposed to be, like, DP's head.
Oh, my goodness!
That's amazing.
So, it's taking me a while because you got to go and find certain parts that are hard to find. You gotta
right.
Right? Like, this might be for Pete and
Preston,
because that's the official team for the Lego.
Right.
It's them wearing an outfit. I don't know.
Oh, Jonathan, what a cool idea.
The one thing I had a question for you guys is I haven't got a clue as to what to do for you guys. Like, you can get a Lego ghost costume on somebody, but then it's just a ghost costume. It needs something that represents you guys. I don't know what to do for you guys. I have Tina's cars, and it's Tina's hair somewhere, so I'm slowly building her. I built Lego buildings. So I'm
how fun! That is too cool.
But it takes a while because not all the parts are there. It's just back and forth. Like next week, there's the birthday suit guy that you can get in the set is now being released into the regular open pick section. So I'm going to get one because Not Bad Parents always says it's his birthday, and he's always
okay.
So I'm trying to like have that balance, but all the time make it like not over the top. So
yeah,
with Siege World, it's easy. It's just like I found a character that was painting his face, and I had Meg paint his face. Right, I have a character of Meg with a paintbrush painting his face. Right?
How cool!
So I don't know what to do for you guys, though. I just wonder if you had any ideas.
Well, we'll think about it. Of course, Williams is going to have a beard. We'll think about it, Jonathan.
It'll take a long time. It's nowhere here. It's whenever I go to the store to buy other things, I come across and I go, oh, I see this is useful. That's useful.
Right. What? How fun! Oh my goodness.
That's neat. That's a really fun idea.
That is so cool.
He's like, oh, you're doing that now? It goes, do a video of it. I'm like, that's going to take like a year to do. Because those parts aren't common.
Yeah.
They're just like whatever you see. Stuff like that.
Haunted Mansion dog. The dog that's in the Haunted Mansion was released today. And it's a Funko Pop. It's flocked.
Oh, Funko Pop. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's $14.90 on the Box Lunch website.
It's cool.
But I have this one, but not in flocked form.
Gotcha.
I've got it right here. I showed you last week. So I have the non-flocked version.
Oh,
I wish
he's
I would
so
have held out.
cute.
Wish I would have held out for the flocked version now.
You've got that one. Cool. How cool! And that dog is iconic, right?
Yeah,
that is so cool. Mike says, "Just make me look like Madame Leota." So yeah, that was I did last Halloween. Russ had his dress up stream where we all dressed up as we drew right out of a hat basically what we were going to dress up and I amazingly enough drew Madame Leota, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, you could do something like that. We'll have to think about it, Jonathan. That's so much fun.
Yeah,
that'd be
really
great.
It's also hard because the parts can only go so far with Lego. Like there's only so much I can put into it, so you have to kind of pick and choose and know where to play with it in line. So there's too many parts. There's no book there's books on minifigures and stuff. There's no book on every part that's out there. So some of the parts could be like, this part only came on one set. It's worth a couple $100 if you want the part.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's not in between, but as I go along, I just as I was buying things one day, I'm like, hey, I see this. That reminds me of so and so. I'm like, why don't I just, on a side note, just go.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
that's
a fun idea.
So,
yeah, well, when you get everybody built,
I've just been collecting parts over time and just
yeah, and And then are you gonna, like, when you get us all built, you're gonna like put us in a with a castle, or what do you?
Buildings aren't here right now, but but I have I'm building the creator bookshop, which is a modular building.
Well, how cool is that?
That's been on hold for a while because I've been busy with moderating.
Mm-hmm.
I bought that stuff like a year ago. It's on my Instagram. I bought it. It's only got the basement done, but once that's built, then you can have people in different rooms and stuff. But like, say the bedroom upstairs can be streaming on a computer or something, or doing whatever.
How cool is that? Right? That's such a great idea, Jonathan.
I just wanted to make a little city block of.
Yeah.
There's no idea to buy the cheaper buildings and see if you can get away with it without buying the $300 buildings.
Right.
I ended up buying that $200 bookshop because I got suckered into it.
That is a cool idea. I'm really excited about that.
I got suckered in again. The other day I went to the Lego store and bought something, and I made a thing. It's actually over here on the table. I bought this.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Into it because the stuff's
that's so
not
cool.
This does not look like solar panel accurately. So it's not just like the place on here. All I have is one multi-one.
We're losing your sound just a little bit, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's probably because I'm blocking it with the box.
With the box, yeah.
But, so there's plates in here. The 2 plates for that Thor's hammer are 6x6 pounds, and they all have mold marks in them that are digitally removed from the picture. So you have to know if you're buying it that it's not going to be a perfect build. For sure. Yeah. The one thing that I liked about it was
that's cool, guys.
Yeah, that's super cool.
There's a spot for figures in, right? And the only reason why I bought this wasn't because I wanted to, or a camera. I'm a prop builder. I can build things that are more detailed. I have to mold of one or probably want to build. But I bought it because it's full scale, so you can just pick it up. I was watching videos of how it's built. It's not intricately built per se. It's got a few cool things, but I bought it because Tina one day, I don't know if I have it here. Yeah, I do. I won a prize pack on our channel, which I just Tina Marie. I haven't finished it yet. She owes me a photo, which I haven't picked out yet. But this was in the prize pack, and I don't collect the Marvel figures.
Oh,
okay.
What am I going to do with it? I didn't know what to do with it. And I was like, I'll give it away. And then about a month later, while I was just sitting on my table, I went down to my drugstore downstairs, and they had 10 of them sitting down there, pretty much, on clearance, because my drugstore only does it at Christmas time, where they put stuff on the ground. So I ended up buying all of it just to find out, let's have fun and see what's in it, because they're so cheap, right? So I went and got them all. But after I opened them, which I haven't yet, do I want to give them away, do I not? And then I saw this, and like, whatever display it would say, this one.
Yeah.
Even though this is like not the same era, because it's the newer. It's the newer ones, the change in the people.
Yeah. Neat.
I thought I'd do it. So the other thing I wanted to do to this, which I'll stay here because not a lot of people. I'm sure someone else is going to do it too. People always do what they call mocks. They modify actual sets and do things to it. Like I've been doing this.
Right.
So what I want to do to this particular thing here is it's just like
Samantha, that's very sweet.
So I thought if you can remove the middle panel, which I saw in the video, I removed it, and you put those 3 items to hide in there, you can remove all the other panels too. It's just something I need. Whatever I remove on one side, all of them, or a lot of them, I'll have window pieces, put window pieces in here, and in them, it'd be like, almost like a hotel or vignettes of each of these characters that I open, whatever they are, inside the hammer, on display. Right? Something unique.
That would be cute.
Yeah, that would be really
cool. That would be really cool.
I don't know if it will happen. I'm going to build it first and like it the way it is.
And see.
Right, so it's a trial and error thing. But I just thought, at least it's something more just building the set you're done with. And I have like a lot of extra big parts that I constantly buy just random parts in the bin. So it's just like, it'd be cool to play around with one day. So I bought that.
It would.
We'll see when we get there.
Neat.
Yeah. Stacy's wondering how many Lego minifigures you have.
Not as much as other people, to be honest. I have like 10 packs of this. I have a complete set of like I think Series 20 with some doubles and stuff. Not as much as Ray. Ray has a 600. I have a lot, but a lot of it's all just like parts of Lego sets.
Yeah.
In here because it's for our community, right? So it's just like mirror pieces and things that I can use, right? So I buy more loose stuff. I even have, for those who know who Rob Fudge is, he has a channel, he's doing the Oscar Awards every year, and I almost won it last year. I found in the bin the other day, and then I lost it because there's a bin full of parts, and it went in there.
Yeah.
It was a Lego Man figure, but it's a gold statue. And
how cool is that?
They have someone fight over who wins it every year. I thought, wouldn't that be cool? And I lost it, and at the end of my purchases, I dug my hand in there and happened to find it again, and she said, can I have this for free? Because I'm not buying a full pack of figures. I go, I come in here all the time. I go, yeah, you can take it. So it's going to be the statue when I make their figures. It's them arguing over.
Oh, that's neat.
Over the gold statue. You know?
I love that idea, Jonathan. That's great.
It's cool to do that. People do that for Lego channels.
Yeah.
They can figure it themselves, but we don't have one in our community. I thought it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I'm really excited to see what you come up with. I know it'll take a while to get everybody together.
It'll take a while, but from time to time I'll post on Instagram. Every time I go up there and I find a new pile, I'll just post on there. I go, this is for so-and-so, this is whatever, right?
Yeah,
I don't know how far it's going to extend to the community. It's just whatever I see that fits. Because, there's people in the community I may want to have done, but, there's just no parts for that to be represented.
Right.
Yeah,
they'll just
there's only so many heads in the Lego and stuff, so you need other things.
Well, guys,
we get to Yachty and we do bags, and there's 100 bags. I'm like,
yeah.
I want to wear that's my cost.
Yeah.
If you're interested in following Jonathan on social media, his links are in the description below. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is what I found. Jonathan, are you on any others?
But Instagram's where I post more of my stuff these days.
Okay.
I usually post here's the next stream of someone live, but I find that Twitter now is a better source because when I post hockey games, I only have 44 subscribers.
Gotcha.
I get by 3 days later, 200 people will watch that post. Right? They may be sports people, so I'm reaching those people.
Yeah.
Because if I post on Instagram going, you're live, there's no point. It's just everybody who's already following me knows you're live, and it's just a reminder to them. I'm not getting any new people, right? So as a moderator,
I
now use
understand.
Twitter more so.
Yeah.
It
Gotcha.
just reaches that
Other people, exactly, Jonathan. Yeah. Okay. Well, Jonathan, was there anything, in closing that you'd like to say about Bob Gurr's birthday or, anything that you wanted to add?
Not really. I don't know. If you guys can find it, you can find when we sang happy birthday to him. I know I gave it to you, but you don't have to do it on here. It's not, the video isn't copyrighted, and this is us singing, but I have it on Instagram somewhere.
Check it out.
Okay. I don't know if it's there still or not. I remember posting at some point. Hopefully it wasn't a story, so it didn't disappear. And it's just a 2-minute clip of us singing happy birthday to him, and there's another clip someone that explains the magazine briefly when we handed it. So that's on there for Bob Gurr stuff.
Okay.
And that's on Instagram. It's on your Instagram.
Post a lot. I posted a video about cupcakes and me unboxing it. You saw the photos, but
that's right. I watched those. Unboxing the cupcakes.
I didn't post it because I wanted to make videos and that it'd be cool. It's just I knew everybody wanted to see content from Bob Gurr's event.
Exactly.
So it was terrible. Exactly. But I'm here's the cupcake. I'm unboxing a cupcake that's made in Toronto, obviously, but it's still the thought of it was there, and it's the one and only cupcake. I even got another cupcake after that because people just left some behind who didn't want theirs. But a lot of people took the stickers off of them. And so I managed to grab one that had a sticker. That's why I had 2 stickers.
Nice. Yeah, I really can't imagine leaving something like that behind. I would have been collecting all the ones they didn't keep.
Bob Gur, or you're already getting the merch from being backers and supporters, right? Stuff that I couldn't afford, $800. That's nice, but not able to do it. And it's funny because they hit 9,000 backers, but there's only 150 people or 160 who supported them. That's how much money those people put into that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, William, let's do our channel news.
Let's say we're at the 2-hour mark. So we'll try to move pretty quickly here. So our Hitchhiker highlight of the week with St. Patrick's Day coming down the line. Luck of the Irish. It's a Disney Channel original movie in classic Disney Channel style. It's a fun storyline, adds to the chaos that ensues when a teen discovers that his family has Irish heritage, specifically leprechaun heritage.
It's fun.
And so, don't want to give away any spoilers, but the movie's based around Kyle O'Reilly. It's the name of the main character, and it's a whole lot of fun. And Kyle has a passion for basketball, and
it's cute. It's a cute
and
movie.
He just so happens to be very lucky, and so he he has the benefit of having luck on his side at the beginning of the movie, and then obviously the tide turns a little bit. But it's definitely fun. It's worth the watch.
It is fun. Family friendly.
It's one of those Disney Channel original movies that I really enjoyed a lot growing up.
Yeah, it's cute.
Also, Saturday, Jillian's going to go live at 8 o'clock a.m. or 8:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m. Central, or my bad, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, Walt Disney World time. She's going to be talking about what I can do at Disney Springs. So look forward to that. Very interested to see what all her suggestions are.
Yeah. Thank you.
What did you say? What did you say, Jonathan?
I said I had to set my alarm for that. I tend to sleep.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Also, check out our partner channel, Monarch Moments. Garrett and Hannah and Gabe and Michelle. Wonderful family we're supporting. I believe Jonathan's also a moderator for them as well. But they go live on Sundays, Wednesdays, and on Fridays they have Fun Food Fridays, which is always a treat. But check them out. They're a lot of fun. They did a stream at the San Francisco Zoo this past week, so check that out too. Check out theliveplace.com. That's a TV guide listing for family-friendly content and live streams. Check out Dean's YouTube channel, Dreamers Empire. TubeBuddy, if you haven't already, check that out. You want to grow your channel and you're your YouTube creator. TubeBuddy gives suggestible keywords for titles. It helps track channel data that helps you grow your channel. It tracks viewing trends, things of that nature. Basic version's free. You can upgrade to the paid version. So we started with the free version and upgrading to the paid. And plus, if you're under 1,000 subscribers, it's cheaper as well. But check out our link below in the description. Gives us both a free month. Stickermule. We've had people ask about our channel buttons and stickers, and we have magnets now too. So check that out if you want good low quality, or if you want good quality, low cost promotional items. Please use our affiliate link in the description below. We'll both get a $10 credit for a future order. I want to thank everybody for being here, especially our guest of honor here tonight in the mansion, Jonathan Chung. Great discussion, about your experience with Bob Gurr's birthday and just
appreciate it, Jonathan.
The design process for stage, props and scenery and things like that.
Good stuff.
So it's been a blast talking with you here tonight. I want to thank also those that are watching on Team Replay. Leave us a comment if you're here and you have a question, and we can pass that on to Jonathan as well. But I want to give a shout out to those watching. Say that again.
Most of the people know me. I'm everywhere anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
So we can just say hi and chat.
Yeah. So let's see here. Again, want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Those that were hanging out, in the chat, maybe watching Ghost Mode. Those that are on Team Replay. Shout out to Aunt Susan and Aunt Joy, Jillian, Kylie, and other family members. Thanks for supporting us. BDF, Francisco, Kevin Theme Park Adventure, Jillian Bone, James Ryan, Tina DCS, Dean the Turkey Legster, Catherine Wilby, AJC Magic TV, Monarch Moments, Monorail Molly, Texas Takes, Move Mania Nick, Space Mountain Dave Cantrell, Just Another Disney, Diz Our Dream, LSU Mom, The Disney Baker, Elena K808, Stacey Rogers, Adventures by D, The Mickey Bunch, Ford Man AK, Kenneth Oakes, Magnificent Germany with Darian. Let's see here, Debbie Burnfeld, Mike Wheeler, and Samantha Paxton. And if I missed you, I apologize, but really appreciate everybody hanging out here tonight.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks,
it's been a great conversation. and it's very exciting to talk with Jonathan on screen versus us being on screen and him in the chat as one of our great moderators and our esteemed Hulk of our community.
That's right. Yeah, number 88, right?
No Hulk, only Banner.
No.
Okay.
Nice.
No Hulk, only Banner. Yeah. Number 88. I'm 86. So you have 86, 87, and 88.
There we go.
Right here. The Disney. Yeah, the Disney. There you go. I knew. Yeah. Jonathan was inducted right after us. We are Strange. We are Doctor Strange, the Disney YouTube recognition series. And Jonathan was 88 right after us. So cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Garrett. Well,
we go live every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Central. Be sure to join us live. We're watching the replay. If you're in the chat, I know you may be busy, but at least drop in, say hello. We'd appreciate it. Be glad to acknowledge that you're here. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notifications when we go live or post videos. Check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can email us at the Hitchhiking Bones at gmail.com. Oh, there's his ranch. He's a mod. He's ready to go.
He said he was a physical person. He liked physical props. There's Jonathan's blue wrench.
There we go. That's awesome.
Jonathan, we really do appreciate you modding for our channel. We're honored that you mod for our humble little channel. So thanks, Tina, and everybody's posting their numbers. I love it. Cool.
Thanks again, everybody. Let's see. Any other parting words, Mom or Jonathan?
Not really.
I can't think of anything. We appreciate it, Jonathan.
Yeah, appreciate the time, Jonathan.
I'll be quick about it, and that was that one thing I forgot to tell you guys, that Bob Gurr roasted that too.
Did he? Oh, wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
He roasted it because he went and said, because it's a new park, right? Bob hasn't built it. It's not his park per se. It's changing. And he says, I like the mountains. I like what they've done with it. But and he actually swore more or less and said, with the story of a broken ship that's going nowhere and needs to be repaired. What kind of story is that?
That's interesting.
He roasted it, but he got to the point where the land could be better used because, to be fair, there's only 2 rides, and a lot of it's just people walking around and interaction.
Yeah.
And coming from the background of Bob Gurr, who designed all these rides and makes things to be interactive and stuff, there's not a whole lot of interactive there. I still like the place.
That's a good point.
But he had a point. But he
does have a point.
You keep the mountains and do something else with it. He's just kind of like this. He's just waving his hands off. Like, he's just kind of angry about it. So everybody else in the place about it.
Yeah. Yes, you should, Garrett. You absolutely should meet up with Jeff at Disneyland. We're looking forward.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. And they, there was concept art and things that things that they decided not to use, and also too, like they had pitched like aliens and like droids like roaming.
Yeah.
And we're not really getting any of that. So it's they're doing it with the Star Cruiser. So for the right price, you can get those things.
Right.
It's great because it was that Star Wars Celebration. They announced it all, and that's all the Star Wars guys behind it. But when you put it on paper, it's great. When you send it to Disney goes, "We need to make money. We can't afford all this," or the whole thing. Things get whittled out, right? So it's really good.
That's a good point. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Anything else, anybody?
No. I just hope that the Bob Gurr thing that got filmed someday goes to like Disney Plus, or at least someone with you guys.
I hope so too.
Yeah, if it does, by all means, let us know. If you catch it, Jonathan, by all means, let us know because I'd love to see it.
The only thing I know of so far is if you were a backer, you got to see it. If you're at a certain level, you got to keep a copy of it. It's that kind of thing. But the fact that, again, the day before his actual event, they posted, go check it out on Disney Plus, means that they're working with Disney Plus because they were allowed to post the Disney Plus symbol and all that stuff. So there must be something in the works down the road.
That's true. Okay. Good deal.
Well, thanks again for hanging out with us here tonight.
In the chat. If you're watching on the replay, we really appreciate you ghost watching, guys, and watching on the replay. We love our team replay. Leave us a comment if you have a question for Jonathan. By all means, leave us a comment below, and he'll answer your questions, or we'll answer your questions about anything else about Jonathan Chung or Bob Gurr. So appreciate it, guys.
All right, thanks everyone. Remember, at the Hitchhiking Bones YouTube channel, there is always room for one more, so please
hurry back.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much, guys.
Have a great week. Thanks, Jonathan.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.